All right. Welcome everybody to our BD Boxing Podcast, broadcasting to you live from the True North. It's a good friend, Mr. BDA, and I sure am glad. That's right, sure I'm glad that everybody could be on board for this one. Fellas, in this episode, we got another fantastic one for you. It's a BDA morning edition show for everybody, breakfast edition, whatever you want to call it. It's been a while since we've done one of these, but there's a lot of happenings occurring right now, a lot of news, a lot of he said, she said, so we're going to cover all of that. Tyson Fury's father, John Fury, talking about how his son is finished. Keyshawn Davis, the world is turning on him. People are starting to find out that this guy might be a little bit, like we say in Spanish, loco. Not right in the coco. And many more news to come after that. And I don't even know, I was thinking maybe opening up the Streamyard at some point. Even though we don't have the premium Streamyard that everybody uses, we only get about 6 spots. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. We got a lot of surprises in store, a lot of news. So stay tuned for that. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm talking about Miso Dionysian, Team Batman Boxing, Manos, more BTC, Delboy in the house. Shout out to Delboy, aka Blue Collar Sports TV, Alfredo Contreras, Manos, Grim Reaper, Don Solo, and many more people to come. I'm sure, fellas. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Whoa. We're still here, by the way. I'm just pumping up the music. And then we faded back down. How do you guys like that? Yes, indeed. You know, in the second Renaissance, I try to keep some music on. I don't know if we want to go there with this stream, but it's a morning stream. And let me tell you something. It's coming down here. Snow. Can you believe that March the 20th, we still got snow here in Canada. It was warming up. Most of the snow was melted. It was warming up. The other day we got to 15 degrees Celsius, which is pretty high for March. But March is a crazy month here in Canada. It's up and down. You think it's over, and oh, whoops, Old Man Winter has one last thing to say about where he's at. Kind of like fighters. They always got one big fight left, one last great performance. Same thing with the winter time. Old Man Winter, he wants to come back with a bang, or he wants to end it with a bang. But thankfully, this type of snow is going to melt right away, but it will be coming down here about 10 to 15 centimeters, they said, of snow, or 5 to 10. I think I'm exaggerating, but shout out to everybody out there. The Zufaru, that's Carl. Shout out to Carl, Miso Dionysian, the Boxing Sicario says Gold Coast, Convention Center. Yeah, I saw some people talking about how Pitaya, in the Discord after the last show, people were saying, wow, Pitaya is not dangerous. Benavides beats him easy. Maybe Benavides beats him. I don't know about easy. Same thing with the Zurdo fight. And I want to talk about that fight later on, but lest people forget that photograph we posted of Glanton, how he looked after the Benavides fight. Well, they look all too hot afterwards. So I think whoever manages to beat Pitaya is going to have to walk away with some lumps. Because even Brady's, people talk about, wow, 40-year-old Brady's, and I've said that before myself, that, he's struggling against Brady's. But then look at Brady's too, was bleeding from the nose like a stuck pig in the first fight, and I think in the second fight as well. So there's something to be said about that. Miso Dionysus says it's 100 Fahrenheit here. I don't know about Fahrenheit. How much is that in Celsius? Is that like 30 or something? I don't even know. I don't know the convention, man. Shout out to We Fight All Night TV as well. The Turk, so he's good with a knife, I hear. But yes, we're doing a morning show, early morning edition here, because there's a lot to get to. And, I like to get up early in the morning and just do these shows. Early. That way you get it all done and you can move on to other stuff in the morning. And also in the morning, I have more energy. So I think it's better to get up early or to start this early. Shout out to Sid Boxing Fu. Shout out to his contribution with the super chat. And he says, what's he saying? Hold on, let me put it up here on the screen. And for some reason, I can't see it on the screen. Hold on a second. Where is it? No, that's not it, is it? Anyway, let me go back here and then I'll try to figure this out later on. Where are we at? Early in the morning, but yeah, okay. Shout out to Sid Boxing Fu, who says, I hope Mason shots Keys big gob. I hope Mason, Abdullah Mason. Yeah, you know what? We're going to get to that later on. There's a lot of drama then with Keyshawn Davis. Channel's getting shut down because of what he said or what people are saying about him. Again, allegedly, channels being shut down because of what he said. I don't know if that's the reason why a certain channel got shut down, but we're going to talk about that. We will be talking about that, believe me. But let me just go back here to this part here. I don't know why the big chat isn't showing up. the big selection, rather. Let me just fix this. My OCD prevents me from moving on unless we... Okay, there we go. Hold on a sec. Boom. Aha. I don't like saying boom, by the way. All right, there we go. So shout out to Sid Boxing FU for that. I hope Mason shots Keys Big Mouth. Yeah, I remember during the summer when the whole thing with Keyshawn Davis happened, and when he had his one of his many, I suspect, breakdowns, or at least in the public, because who knows what's going on behind closed doors. And I said, this dude, it's about the second or third time he's gone nuts in the press conference. And people were telling me, nah, he's just selling the fight. That's always the defense, right? He's just selling the fight. He's playing a character, as if this was professional wrestling or something. And then he blew weight. Then he attacked Nahir Albright, allegedly. And I said, this guy, I'm telling you, he's not selling a fight. He's not playing a character. That's who he is. He's a bit of a nutbag, a nut job, a basket case. But anyway, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. First, I want to get to the John Fury's comment. John Fury was doing an interview. And the woman that's interviewing him, by the way, I've seen her before. I don't know if maybe some of the people from the UK can let us know who she is. But she was the one that was interviewing Whitaker, Ben Whitaker. And she was making him cry. I suspect that's going to be the go-to move with a lot of the people who interview Ben Whitaker. Just like with Keith Thurman, every time they bring up Ben Getty, to just make him cry. Ben Getty, by the way, used to be was Keith Thurman's first trainer, who then passed away. And they always bring it up to make Keith Thurman cry. I don't know if they just want to humiliate, get clicks. I don't know. Really, I don't want to cast aspersions or speculate, but for some reason they keep bringing it up. Even though most of us already know the story of Ben Getty, to the point where we're tired of it. And this woman brought up the whole Ben Whitaker, you went to the Olympics and you had to miss your grandmother's wedding, not wedding, excuse me, her funeral, had to miss her grandmother's funeral. Hate to laugh, but I made a mistake there. But anyway, the point is, not the wedding, a funeral. And she brings it up and Ben Whitaker starts crying. It's the second time he's cried in public, by the way. Not good for his character, because he is trying to play a character in a lot of ways. I think, or maybe that's just who he is. But anyway, the point is, she made him cry. And then she said something interesting. She goes, what do you say to all these people who say you're, all these negative narratives, with these false narratives about you? I'm thinking, false narratives? Why would she say false narratives? Maybe they're real narratives. Maybe they're not narratives at all. Anyway, that's all I wanted to bring up about that woman there. What are people saying in the chat? See, what I like about these shows, though, is that I can read some of the comments. I can take the time to read some of the more comments. Although I'm all over the place right now because we haven't even gotten to the first story. But Carl says Jai is pillow fisted. Shakur is a way more exciting fighter. Exactly. That's the way some people would present it. Del Boy says I don't suspect Benavidez versus Opetaya will happen. I don't think so either. I would wager money, and even though I don't wager, I would wager money that that fight doesn't happen. Iceman says 37 degrees. Yeah, where are you at? Are you in California, Mexico? Where are you? That's pretty cozy, warm, toasty temperature right there, let me tell you. I'm not even gonna read that comment, man. Come on. Oh, jeez, Louise. All right, let's play this clip without further prevarication. This is John Fury, Tyson Fury's father, who is now saying that he's fallen out with his son. He's fallen into disfavor in the court of Tyson Fury, and he had a lot to say. Check this out here.
You know what Sugar Hill's instructions was in the 10th round? Get that back foot up guy and take him out. I said, he's not got a leg under him. Take him out. You got no power, I said. You don't get on your bike, I said.
All right, so, context. He's talking about Sugar Hill's instructions to Tyson Fury in the first Usyk fight, which Fury did very well in the first 6 rounds, and then everything started falling apart.
You know what Sugar Hill's instructions was in the 10th round? Get that back foot up guy and take him out. I said, he's not got a leg under him. Take him out. You got no power, I said. You don't get on your bike, I said. Get behind your jab, fiddle away and get your legs back. Was that not sensible advice?
Yeah, absolutely.
If I hadn't been in that corner, Usyk could have chinned him in the 10th round.
All right, now let me just re-listen to this.
Get on your bike. I said, he's not got a leg under him. Take him out. You got no power, I said. You don't get on your bike, I said. Get behind your jab, fiddle away. You know what Sugar Hill's instructions was in the 10th round? Get that back foot up guy and take him out. I said, he's not got a leg under him. Take him out.
All right. So they're talking about after the 10th round where Usyk managed to hurt Tyson Fury, and John Fury is saying that Tyson Fury should have taken the round off to get his legs back and not do, which is what he did, by the way, and not do what Sugar Hill was telling him to, which was allegedly, according to John Fury, allegedly Sugar Hill told Tyson Fury, go get him, go finish him. I don't know if that's true. I'd have to re-listen to that part. But maybe he was just trying, again, this is just my speculative assessment, that maybe he was just trying to pump Tyson Fury up. Because eventually Tyson Fury did end up just spending the 10th round trying to survive and get his legs back and get his bearings back. He didn't really go in there and start slugging it out with Usyk. Not that he could have anyway, even if he wanted to. So I don't know if John Fury is necessarily in the right here. I don't know if I believe him. I don't know if I believe that Javon Sugar Hill really said that. If some people could let us know in the chat, rewatch if there is indeed footage of an audio of the instructions in between rounds, because I don't remember hearing that. And John Fury, not for nothing, but am I remiss in being a little skeptical of what he says? First of all, by the way, I like how I think this is John Fury's flat or whatever they call it there in the UK. I like how he made these people take their shoes off because there's carpet there. There seems to be a little door there, a little barrier in between the front door, which is a very small front door. I don't know if that's the way they do it over there. I don't know if that's a trailer of some sort. The lamp is askew. Look at that. Hold on a second. You guys can't even see it. Look at that. So they took the shoes off. The door seems to be very small. The door frame. The lamp is askew. I don't know. I'd be a little creeped out going into that house. I'd be even more creeped out if maybe you guys can see it, but I bet you there's a lock inside the door so that you can't get out. Like, yeah, there's actually a lock from the inside, and it's a lock so that prevents people from exiting. I would be very, very, very scared of being in the same room, in the same house with John Fury, in John Fury's domicile. But anyway, that's John Fury's instructions. And look, I remember when John Fury was going at it, there was a roundtable discussion on, I think it was on Sky Sports, before the second Fury-Wilder fight. And John Fury said that Tyson Fury cannot outbox Wilder. He has to go get him because Wilder can't fight off the back foot. Something along those lines. I forget. I'm paraphrasing here. And I remember saying, well, it turned out to be true. Turns out Deontay Wilder can't fight off the back foot. And Fury, when he pressed him, had an easier time, much easier time than he did in the first fight, because if you box Wilder from the outside, you're giving him space to uncoil that serpent-like, viper-like right hand. Now, on the other hand, Bucho, Stu, and I think Precise had already said the same thing after the first fight. Immediately after the first fight. So it's one of those things that you either see it or you don't. And again, I'm not saying that those guys, it wasn't, because it was a very prescient, observant, what's the word I'm looking for here? It was an astute observation to make, because I didn't see it. I'm not saying I'm the master tactician, but it was very interesting that those guys pointed out. So I'm not saying that it wasn't a good observation, but if we're going to use that for John Fury, like, oh, he's some sort of master tactician, then maybe, Bucho and Precise and Stu, people should give him their credit as well. So I don't know where I fall in with this John Fury thing. I mean, it's people in the chat are saying, what Delvo is saying, what is that chair? Yeah, you're right, man. What is that? I didn't notice it. He had to take the big chair, right? Like he's the king. He's holding court with his minions. Look at that. With the peons. It's true. What is that chair? It's like something out of Dune or something. The Dune movie. Third one coming out in December, by the way. They just released the trailer. Boxing Chief says, was Precise even still on the show after the first fight? And by the first fight, are you saying the Usyk or what? Talking about the Wilder fight. Yeah, he was still around. That was the first fight was 2018. Yeah, he didn't start having issues until 2021. Del Boy says, even the crazy boxers were better back in the day. We went from Edwin Valero to Keyshawn Davis. That's a good point. At least Keyshawn Davis is entertaining, though, in the ring. In the ring. He's heavy-handed. What else we got here? TXZ says, did you see Jose Benavides punk Ryan Garcia on Kickstream? Yeah, I heard him calling him out saying, hey, you talk bad about me. And then Ryan Garcia said, well, show me the proof and I'll apologize. Which is true. I mean, anybody can say anything. Hey, you said this, you said that. By the way, it's interesting. When Keyshawn Davis goes nuts, people say, oh, he's selling the fight. When Devin Haney said, I'll never lose to a white boy in my life, he said, some people defending him saying, he's just selling the fight. When Ryan Garcia acts like a nutbag, very few people defend him saying, oh, he's just selling the fight. Maybe that's the reasoning or the excuse that Ryan Garcia should go with, the defense. I'm just trying to sell the fight, bro. No, that's not the Ryan Garcia voice. Hold on, let me do the impersonation. I'm just trying to sell the fight, bro. That's my Ryan Garcia impersonation right there. So, all right, so that's Tyson John Fury right there. And again, I don't really know what to make of John Fury's observations. He also said that Tyson Fury is done, by the way. He said his legs are gone. He doesn't have it anymore. And I think that I might agree with. Again, we won't know until how Tyson Fury looks. He looked pretty good to me in the first Usyk fight. Looked pretty good in the Usyk fight, which is something, that was a surprising fight because I didn't think the fight was going to be entertaining. If you go rewatch the shows in the build-up to that fight, and even way before when they announced it, I thought it was going to be a boring affair. I thought it was going to be a very tepid fight. I thought both guys were just going to be very careful, and there was going to be a lot of clinching from Tyson Fury, and it turned out that Fury performed very well in the first 5-6 rounds. I don't necessarily know if he won those 6 rounds in a row, but he did very well. He had Usyk in trouble. Usyk, you could tell, had to labor to get his second win and tire Fury out, because that's what Usyk does. You have to break his body down, otherwise you're not going to stop him. His mind and his heart is always going to keep him going forward. And but it seemed there for a while, it seemed like Tyson Fury was getting to him physically. In fact, Usyk said that at some point he got hit with an uppercut so hard he actually thought about going down for a split second there. But then somehow he said, God, I think that's what he said, right? Something about God lifted me up or something. So he needed God's help to beat the demigod. No, I'm kidding. No, but, so anyway, Fury did very well in the first fight. Then in the second fight, well, that was a whole other story. If we're basing Fury not having any legs anymore based off the second Usyk fight, well, that was because he turned out for the fight looking more fatter than usual at 300 pounds. Or damn near 300 pounds. So, of course, he didn't have his legs there. But if he comes in looking like he did in the first fight, I don't know if Makhmudov has a real shot. But then again, Makhmudov is a big dude. Not as big as Tyson Fury, but thereabouts in the same league. And we saw how Tyson Fury looked against Ngannou after a year-long layoff. And he didn't look all that great. A lot of clinching fighting a guy his own size. So is that the same thing that's going to happen? Because remember, he hasn't fought since December 2024. So all of 2025 out of the ring. Maybe he's been training for the past 6 months or whatever, but I think people now should realize that just because you train for 6 months and you spar, like Steve Kim always says, activity matters. It doesn't equate to actual in-the-ring performance, because when you're fighting in the ring, it's very different from sparring. You can spar at a 90%, 95%, even 100%. But it's not the same thing as actually being in the ring with the smaller gloves, no headgear, with an opponent hitting you with those type of gloves. It builds up, like Jimmy used to say, the fight calluses. Your endurance, your reflexes, everything. It gets built up to a certain point in the gym, but not to the point where if you're fighting regularly. And so that's what Tyson Fury lacks. And he's old now, or older. And I know the heavyweights they age. They got more room to age properly or age well. A fighter, a heavyweight in his late 30s can actually still continue to perform, also depending on the quality of the division, compared to a guy, obviously, in the welterweight division, lightweight division, whatever. So there's a lot of factors here. I don't know how he's going to look. I'll tell you what, I don't even think he looked all that good against Dillian White. I mean, he looked better than expected, okay, because I thought it was going to be a more difficult fight. But then again, he spent a lot of time clinching. How would that fight have looked had he been prevented from clinching? He's 37 years old, by the way. 37. So what do you guys think? Am I making too much of this? Because that's what I always do. I look at all the factors. How's he going to look? The age, the layoff, blah, blah, blah. And then it doesn't, lately a couple of times it doesn't seem to really affect people. Gypsy just sent me an instant message here on the DM. Shout out to Gypsy. He says, Sugar Hill is a one-dimensional coach, BDA. I don't know if I disagree with that. Because what else has Sugar Hill done? I mean, Sugar Hill, a lot of us gave him credit for after the Wilder fight, after the Wilder rematch. But then, what did he really do thereafter? Or maybe that's Tyson Fury's fault. Maybe that's not necessarily Sugar Hill's fault. I don't know. I would like to maybe we'll talk about that more at some point. What does that exactly mean? One-dimensional fighter, trainer rather. Now, moving on to the Abdullah Mason Keyshawn Davis thing, because we played the video of, I don't know if people remember, but Top Rank announced that the Zone deal, they're going to be on the Zone, which apparently it's not an exclusivity. There's no exclusivity either. So I think they're going to be able to go to another network. That's what Todd DeBeuf said. But be that as it may, somewhere before or after the press conference, Keyshawn Davis was up to his old antics, his usual antics, and he was going at it with Abdullah Mason, talking about when we're going to fight. Well, apparently there was a clip that we didn't show because I didn't know it existed, but check this out.
Realistically for yourself, your own timetable.
He said he couldn't make the weight, but he said, oh, I could have made the weight.
You was a build hating ass nigga, bro. You goofy. You goofy.
He's a major hater.
I'm hating on Lil Bro.
Major hater. He can't make 35. Oh, did I see the other video? I could have made 35. I don't know what is he doing. Why is he leaving? I don't know what's going on.
I'm a hater now. Oh my God. Keyshawn is a hater.
So they're calling him out for his, say, I can't make the weight, then I can make the weight, then let's make it happen. And then you heard Abdullah Mason saying, I was drinking. Keyshawn Davis opened up the door to that. I was drinking. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if he's that crazy to be drinking, because that's what he said, right, to Brian Coster and other people. Oh, I was drinking before the De Los Santos fight and after, and I was on top of a garage and I wanted to jump, and, you know, who knows if he's lying. One thing's for sure is that he is a bit of a bipolar type character. The way he goes at his opponents, or after his opponents haven't done anything to him, all these dudes, I don't know why, the people from that Crawford sphere, Terence Crawford, Clarissa Shields, Keyshawn Davis, Steven Nelson, they all like to talk a lot. It seems like they take the boxing personal. It's like, man, I ain't never going to lose it. Like, these people, if they ever lose a fight, let me tell you, they go nuts. Same thing with Keyshawn Davis. But notice he didn't have anything to say when they call him out.
I don't know what is he doing. Why is he leaving?
You see those eyes? Like he's trying to think of something. Look at that. See, let's look at it without sound. Look at his eyes. See, he's trying to think of something to say, but there's nothing to say because there's no defense. He opened up the Pandora's box by saying that he's undisciplined and drinking before a fight. Look at that.
What is he doing? Why is he leaving?
Even Abdullah Mason looks at you. See, I mean, not Abdullah Mason, Shushu Carrington there. Look at that. He's just there, and when they start saying that, look at him. He's like, oh boy, oh, you gonna like he's rubbing his face nervously. You gonna say something, Keyshawn?
He's a major troll. Keyshawn Davis, the king of the troll.
Oh man,
King of the troll.
I'm a hater.
You said you a hater.
Oh my God, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I want to take that life out if I was you. That's just me. That's just me though, gang. I wouldn't take. He said, I'm out.
Carrington is instigating.
I say, Lil Bro, this year, whenever. Why you keep talking about whatever, my nigga? I'm talking about this
What
year.
intrigues you about that fight with Abdullah?
You know,
If you don't make 135, how you gonna fight at 135?
crazy. Pops, it's about your son, not you, Pops. It's about your son. All right, bet.
He didn't have anything to say, and it's true. It's like, okay, he looked good against Jermaine Ortiz, but I don't know what's going to happen with Keyshawn Davis, because he pulled out of the De Los Santos fight, and then Bernie the boxer said that Keyshawn Davis pulled out because he didn't think he could beat De Los Santos. He was scared of De Los Santos. Now, I don't know if we attributed that to maybe Bernie the boxer being salty, because again, these people from that, like I said, that Crawford sphere, they're very, very thin-skinned. So maybe they were just mad that the guy left Bomac. Keyshawn did, by the way. So maybe that's why they were trying to throw him under the bus a little bit. I don't know. But one thing's for sure is maybe the guy's right. Maybe Keyshawn Davis is an alcoholic, or he's an up-and-down type of fighter. And, you know, because people could say that. People could say, well, wait a minute. Keyshawn Davis has punching power. He's got fast hands. He's got athleticism. He went to the Olympics. He got to the finals. Medal silver in the Olympics. Not easy to do to get to the finals. And, you know, when you get to those type of fights in the Olympics, you lose the fight, but you didn't really lose the fight. It's 3 rounds. It's a very type of fencing type of match. It's kind of hard to really dominate any one person in these Olympic type fights. You look at that fight against Andy Cruz. I thought Andy Cruz won it, but it's not like, whoa, you know, with how much can you really do in 3 rounds? So when you lose that type of close fight at the finals in the Olympics, you might as well have won the gold, because you got there. It's very difficult to get to the Olympics, and then to get to the final, it's even more difficult. So people could look at Keyshawn Davis, all those accomplishments so far, and say, why would he have a chip on his shoulder, or why would he have self-esteem issues, or maybe confidence issues? Well, We're looking at it from the outside perspective. How many people out there have a lot, but they wake up every morning saying, I don't have anything? That scarcity mentality. You gotta count what you have, and then all of a sudden you realize, whoa, look at everything I have. But sometimes you gotta be introspective and disassociate yourself from your feelings or whatever it is you've got in your head and say, you know what, whoa, I really am lucky or whatever. Some people don't have that. And, a lot of people who become boxers, like we've said it before, professional boxers, they're not normal. You have to be a little abnormal to get into this business. So what I'm trying to get at is maybe Keyshawn Davis is that way. Maybe part of him doesn't really believe that he's that good. I know it sounds crazy, but maybe that's why he acts the way he acts, with the barking and the pushing his opponents when they didn't do anything to him. And, I don't know, the Jussie Smollett thing, creating certain hoaxes there, race crimes or whatever, with the fruit box. Remember that? The banana and the watermelon in the box and the and the note? Reminded me of the Jussie Smollett situation. I'll tell you that. So who knows if he's really what he's really about. So maybe he looked good against Ortiz and then he looks like crap in the next one. Or maybe not necessarily he looks like crap, but maybe he does something outside the ring that prevents him from getting another fight. We won't know. But like I said, these people that go, oh, well, he's just trying to sell the fight. I don't think so. I think this is who he really is. He's a guy that's very confused. He's trying to act tough because maybe he doesn't believe that he's tough. And I'm not the only one who thinks this. Greg Hackett, who has made a big name for himself on YouTube, social media. He's a former professional boxer, and people make fun of him for his record. But look, the guy got in there, traded blows. It's not something a lot of people want to do. People often talk about, well, you can't disrespect professional fighters because they're all heroes. They're all brave for getting in the ring. And I agree to a certain degree with that. But I also think that relative to other fighters, certain boxers can be cowards. They can act like cowards just because you step through the ropes. You can step through the ropes and then fight like a bitch. But that doesn't make you tough because, well, as long as you step through the ropes, you can do whatever you want. No, now you got to perform too. But what I'm trying to get at is Greg Hackett did go in there. He didn't backfoot bitch it. I think he deserves a certain amount of respect for that. And so people like to make fun of him for his record, but he comes up with some good observations. And I'll play you what he had to say about Keyshawn Davis here. Let me lower the volume because I think it's pretty loud here.
You know what I hate? When a man pretends to be something he is not. That shit grinds my gears, ladies and gentlemen. And you meaning to tell me your father is from Cuba? And you claiming Virginia? And every time he approached you with that energy, you never had anything for him. But Abdullah Mason could be minding his business. Why? Why do you do that to your brothers? But when it's Adela Santos or your father, Cruz, you don't have that same energy. What is it?
That's what Recognize pointed out, and other people and Sobers, I think, also pointed out, is he keeps going at Abdullah Mason, Keyshawn Davis. He keeps going at Abdullah Mason, but when he's in front of Ryan Garcia, when he's with Andy Cruz, all of a sudden he stays very quiet. There's people that do that. People act a certain way around other people. They feel intimidated, but then they take it out. Especially people who have low self-esteem issues, they'll take it out on somebody they feel they can take it out on, because Abdullah Mason is not a big talker. But this time they did talk back. They exposed him for, oh, you can't make weight, then you can make weight, and then, oh, I've been drinking, and you saw Keyshawn Davis didn't have anything to say. Hold on a second.
I am completely lost. And the only thing I can think of is this little motherfucker got pics. Huh?
He's taking a lot of pauses in between. He's pacing around his room.
You got energy for everybody.
Then he just all right. Now the presentation of this video is a little bit strange, because he gets quiet and then he starts screaming again, and you don't know when he's gonna talk. So let's just play it again for a couple of 30 seconds straight or something, and then.
Anybody else? When it's your something you can recognize, let's say. But when it comes to them Spanish dark-skinned brothers, it's something about them, boy. So from now on, we're going to call Andy your father, and we're going to call De Los Santos your uncle. I don't know what it is. So after Wu Albright situation, you never gave us an apology. You running around acting like you looking for a fight. It's plenty of fights. Plenty of big fights. But you want to play with brother Abdullah Mason. Why? And I know why. Because you know it's not in his mannerisms to act that way. He's opposite of what you are. He don't like to put on the show until it's fight night. He don't like to put on a show until it's fight night.
That's the other thing, though. He's going after Abdullah Mason. When we going to fight? When we going to fight? What has Abdullah Mason done so far? The only wins that I recognize on his record is Nakatila and Noakes. Was that the guy's name, Noakes, the British guy who gave him a very tough fight? So I agree that Mason has a lot of work. You know, he's been heavily hyped by a lot of people. As well they should, because, you know, that's their job, especially top rank. But why go after, how old is he? He's 21 years old, by the way. Why is Keyshawn Davis calling out a 21-year-old? He wasn't calling out Andy Cruz's way. I don't recall. Again, I don't really focus too. Maybe I'm wrong, right? Because I've said it before. I don't, that he said, she said, oh, he called him out. Who cares about the calling out? But it does matter when a guy talks so much like Keyshawn Davis. Why not call out Andy Cruz the way Greg Hackett is saying? Why call out a 21-year-old? And then he was talking about I think he's been talking about fighting Ryan Garcia. You want to fight an Instagram model? Everybody wants to fight Ryan Garcia all of a sudden. An Instagram model. That's what they used to call him, right? But now he has a paper title, and all of a sudden everybody wants to fight him.
But you like putting on shows. You like attention. And there's nothing wrong with that. Get it how you live, champ. I just want to know, what's the problem when it comes to De Los Santos? You got a drinking problem. And your father, you ain't got no energy for him, but you celebrated his downfall behind his back. You went outside and had a party. But Andy Cruz could be having a drink, doing a dance, and calling you his son.
Now, let me fast forward
like
here.
He had a house to believe you this big bad gorilla. What was you drinking, brother? What was you drinking? Fall. But the same brother you keep going at was the same brother that saved the show.
All right, now he's I think he's going in circles a little bit, but he is right, though, is you know, he goes in there, Keyshawn Davis does, and he ruined the show over there in Norfolk, Virginia, with the drinking and missing weight, and then he shows up at the fight and starts going at it with the Dominicans, and then he's shoving popcorn down his throat like he's a homeless guy who just got some food, some free food, and now he's got to fill up his belly before the end of the night. I mean, it's and then attacking Albright, and I mean, and the way that people brought it up to him, it's like, what happened? You remember Brian Custer? What happened? My brother, what happened? It's like, what happened? It's like it was out of his control, right? It was out of Keyshawn Davis's control. The guy from Cigar Talk too. Man, I hate the situation for Keyshawn. I hate the situation. It's out of Keyshawn Davis's control. He can't control himself. He's a little baby. He's got no agency. He's got no responsibility for the things he does. That's how some people try to defend certain fighters and then try to castigate others. But Greg Hackett is right. Keyshawn Davis is acting one way, but then acts in a completely different manner when it counts with other fighters. And people can say, well, what about Jermaine Ortiz? What about Jermaine Ortiz? Okay, Jermaine Ortiz. Let's not make it. It was a very good performance. A lot of us didn't think he was going to perform that well against Jermaine Ortiz. But let's not make it out to be as if he beat Lomachenko. He didn't beat Tank Davis. He didn't beat Shakur Stevenson. Oh, I never gonna fight Shakur. He my brother. I mean, come on, man. And what's the other thing about Keyshawn Davis is, oh yeah, but like I keep saying, Abdullah Mason is 21 years old. Now Vader says he's got a title. Mason has a title. I mean, come on. There's 4 titles floating around. Any old body with a certain degree of talent and a push behind them, a good promotional entity, can get a title belt. It's the man makes the belt, not the other way around. So just because Mason has a title, that doesn't mean, oh, now all of a sudden Keyshawn is justified in going after a lightweight, 21-year-old lightweight, whose best win so far is Sam Noakes. I mean, yeah, I don't see it that way. I don't. Keyshawn Davis should be going after his brother, Shakur. Let's see what people in the chat are saying, by the way. It's a lot of people in here. Shout out to all of you guys. Glad you could jump in. Abel says Keyshawn will always be in Shakur's shadow. And I think Shakur Stevenson, some people were saying that, and I said, I started thinking maybe Shakur Stevenson wants it that way. Because there was a rumor, and I think I spoke about it weeks ago, that Keyshawn Davis gives Shakur Stevenson the business in sparring. And Shakur Stevenson is from that Crawford sphere. They like to plan out things ahead of time. They like to plan out 3-4 fights ahead of time. And I think Shakur Stevenson, maybe he's like, well, I don't want to really deal with this dude. So because Shakur Stevenson seems to me like he's got a hypnotic hold on Keyshawn Davis. Some sort of MK Ultra type programming where he's convinced him that we shouldn't fight. And some people say, come on, you really think Shakur Stevenson doesn't want to fight Keyshawn Davis? Yeah, part of me thinks it's possible. It's a very plausible scenario. That's why he spars everybody. Because he wants to see, well, what does this guy have and what could he have in the pro ranks in an actual fight. Pancho Villa says Haney has a complexion for the protection. And then he says Sugar Hill's a good trainer. I'm surprised more fighters don't hire him. Yeah, after the Wilder rematch, I was surprised that more fighters didn't gravitate towards him. But maybe he has a reputation that he's maybe like Gypsy said, maybe he's a little overrated. Iceman says, I heard Haney's suspended for 6-7 months. I don't know how true, though. I don't know about that. Shout out to Sobers, who says cooked. I don't know who he's referring to. Iceman says that's fake. Both are Jay Prince guys. Oh, okay. Sobers is saying the Masons cooked Keyshawn, made him look dumb. Yeah, they left him looking dumb, that's for sure. Maybe they didn't leave him looking dumb. Maybe he just is dumb. Pugilism Z says, Sweet Pea Whitaker weekend, 757 rip. Keyshawn not getting frozen out. Turkey promotes him as the ring ambassador. All right. That's the thing. He's got the official title of ring ambassador. Mental hate case, cloud chaser or not. Ultimately, people want to see Key put BTA or fail. Yeah. At least Keyshawn Davis is an entertaining fighter inside the ring. But it's just outside the ring. We don't know if he's going to be consistent. He didn't look all that hot against Albright. Then again, Albright is tricky for most people. And then the whole debacle against De Los Santos. I don't know, man. That was very telling. Keyshawn's fights are suspicious, says more BDC. Keyshawn looks average against guys his own size. Well, that's the other thing. This guy is massive. He's bigger than Shakur Stevenson. And we're going to get to the Shakur Stevenson size thing, by the way. Pugilist says, wholesome trash talking promotion for the 404 DB3 car in Norfolk, Virginia. Wholesome trash. I don't know what he's talking about. Quickslot says, early show today. Yes, shout out to Quickslot. Pancho Villa says, this is why people from all over the world laugh at people from the USA. Of all the things going on, people from the USA are passionate about the stupidest things. I mean, you could say that about most people in the world, but the Americans, certain Americans, they really do go overboard. Iceman says he's helping Abdullah Mason. Bobby says, Greg Hackett channel is gone from YouTube. I can't find it. The Keyshawn trolls must have shut it down. Well, you bring us to the second point here. Because I think Greg Hackett in that video was going around in circles there. I think we get the point about Keyshawn Davis. But indeed, apparently Greg Hackett's channel got taken down and he was doing very well for himself from what I understand with that channel. But apparently not anymore, or at least not if he can't recover it. Check out what he had to say on Twitter. Hold on a second. He said, people try everything possible to stop the truth. Now, I don't know if he's referring to the Keyshawn Davis thing. But the timing does appear to be very suspicious. Who took his channel down or who tried to take it down? Is there such a thing as the Keyshawn Davis Army, the Keyshawn Trolls, the Kirmi? Now, what would the Keyshawn Army be called, a group? The Keyshawnites. Maybe the Keyshawnites took it down. I suspect that Keyshawn Davis has a lot of fans inside insane asylums. I think the people from the home really root for Keyshawn. Maybe they put the fights on in the insane asylums for Keyshawn Davis, for all his old friends there. I don't know. So yeah, that is bizarre, man. That Greg Hackett's channel got taken down, or maybe he got struck. I don't know. Pancho V says people from the USA hate each other, but they think that the rest of the world likes them. Pugilism says Jay Priest is commanding them to manufacture beef. It's wholesome trash talk and fight hype. Well, that's the one perception, right? People like to say, well, it's all. People like to defend certain behavior by saying it's just trash talk, is just to sell the fight. I guess Teofimo Lopez too. That's what he said. He said he was just selling the fight with some of the things he was saying. I think Ryan Garcia should say the same thing. And even if he doesn't say it, maybe we should defend him that way too. It's like, listen, everything, the things Ryan Garcia says and does, he's just trying to sell himself. He's just trying to sell the fight. What else we got here? Shout out to Virtuoso. Virtuoso says Keyshawn Davis is Looney Tunes. It would appear that way. The Turk says Shakur Stevenson and Keyshawn Davis are lovers. I don't know about that. But would you be surprised if that indeed happened? Or if that indeed was the case? I don't know if I'd be surprised. Nothing surprises me anymore. Yeah, that's what's going on at the gym behind closed doors. Virtuoso says, bro, I'm almost done with a double shift. Whoa, Virtuoso putting in the midnight, burning the midnight oil there. Shout out to him. Or he was burning the midnight oil. Shout out to Virtuoso. More BDC says, Madueno gave Keyshawn problems. What else do we got here? The key holders. that's what they're called, the key holders, yeah. They get the keys to the insane asylums, yeah. Del Boy says, the key suits. The key suits, that one could work too, yeah. They like to wear their victim skins. Iceman says the Kiwis. The Kiwis. Well, I mean, people are going to say, well, wait a minute. That's people from New Zealand. I don't know if that one works, Iceman. We'll put it on the shelf just in case. Del Boy says Keyshawn is another mental health merchant. Yeah, that's what they all do, man. That's the new fad, and Ryan Garcia started it. Somebody should finish it because I'm getting tired of these guys with my mental. Who's the other guy that came out with the mental health thing? Danny Garcia, Ryan Garcia, Keyshawn Davis. There was another guy. We talked about him in one of the previous episodes. Who was it? Anyway, I'll try to find out later on. So speaking of mental health guys and nut jobs, there was Ryan Garcia is also in the news because he was with David Benavides doing a live kick stream. Yeah, Tyson Fury, Delbo. Yeah, that's another dude. But there was somebody else recently who came out with mental health issues. Who was it? I think Ben Whitaker is one of those. Hold on. Maybe I have it here. Maybe I have it in my notes here because from the previous episodes. Mental, detrimental. Jamal Charlo opens up about Benavides bout and mental health. Okay, yeah, but that was a long time. That was about a year ago. I'm doing this for my family. It's an offer that you'd be mentally to turn down. No, that's not him. Mental. Oh, Rolly Romero. That's the other guy. In the Mr. Versace episode, at the 15-minute mark, thereabouts, he talks about how he's got mental issues too, which we already knew. You don't got to be a psychiatrist to know he's got mental issues, maybe even some developmental issues. But that's the thing now. Now it's out everyone's out in the open with their mental issues. And I know Steve Kim is one of those dudes that's he laments the days of the 80s and the 90s when could you imagine Marvin Hagler talking about mental issues or whatever. And I'm not saying that, guys, I'm not saying that it's a shameful thing to have mental issues. Although to a certain degree, yeah, I am saying it's a shameful thing because you shouldn't be talking about it. Now, some of these guys are going to go, well, what about for the people out there who do have mental issues? It's a good message. I think that's a good message for mental health professionals to put out there about how you can deal with that, not boxers. I don't want to hear boxers talking about how they wake up at night pissing their pants because they got mommy issues or whatever. I don't need to hear that. But going back to this whole Ryan Garcia thing, this ties into what I'm talking about here, because somebody had posted a picture of Shakur Stevenson from his Instagram. He said 175 pounds. So some people are saying, whoa, so he weighs 175 pounds? He walks around 175 pounds? So he said, hold on, somebody said on Twitter. Shakur said he will only fight Devin Haney on a rehydration clause because he don't want no one to blow up to 170, 180. But he walks around 175. Make it make sense. He's scared of Devin Haney and will only fight Devin at Devin's disadvantage. So if you guys thought Shakur Stevenson has fans, Devin Haney has a different breed of fans. They will defend him no matter what. I think the Devin Haney fans, they strike me as the type of people that come from the World Star Hip Hop to a certain degree, or like reality show. Sobers will get this reference. T-sector type people. That's what Devin Haney reminds me of. It's like he would fit in very well. These T-sector people probably talk a lot about him because he's in the news. His girlfriend, I think she was banging a rapper or something, and she was getting dicked down by a rapper or something. So it's the type of gossipy things that the people from the T-sector like to talk about, right? Like Deontay Wilder's wife, Love and Hip Hop, or whatever that reality show is called. I think that's the type of crowd that Devin Haney fits in. Shakur Stevenson's fans from a different type of demographic. Tank Davis's fans definitely from a different type of demographic. They're the type of people that like to, they watch the drive-by Olympics and stuff like that. Devin Haney, not so much. That's why the Tank Davis fans are at odds with Devin Haney, because Devin Haney doesn't really fit their demographic. But Devin Haney he's got his own devoted fans. So now they're saying, well, wait a minute, how come my microphone keeps falling off here? Why won't Shakur Stevenson fight Devin Haney without a rehydration clause? And it's a good question to ask. Now, I don't think Shakur Stevenson walks around 175 pounds. He does look bigger, significantly bigger than people would assume, but I don't know if he walks around 175 pounds. Terence Crawford, you will recall, before he even fought at welterweight for the first time, was already walking around 170-something pounds. But he's, I think, about an inch or two taller than Shakur Stevenson. I think he's got wider shoulders, too, a wider frame. Dr. 805 talked about how Crawford can put on weight and cut weight on fight night and not have it affect him too much, especially with the supplements from Snack. But Shakur Stevenson, I don't know if he really walks around 175. Maybe upper 160s, but 175, I don't know about that. So I don't know about these people. I don't know if he really walks around 175. But he did contradict himself, and we talked about it in a different show. And I know Solvers has a short video on his channel about how Shakur Stevenson was talking about, I think it was the riding catch weights. And then about Tank Davis fight, he said, no, we can do it. No, yeah, what was he saying? Yeah, something. I think he was writing Tank Davis for putting on catch weights. But then he a couple of months later, he said, I'll only fight Devin Haney at a catch weight and with a rehydration clause. So he contradicted himself right there. Now, he's got a right to change his mind, because I don't know where I fall with this whole catch weight thing anymore, because you got weight bullies, and now you have people trying to put on rehydration clauses and catch weights to counteract that. So Pandora's box is open now with that. People are trying to counter these dirty tactics any way they can, because yes, being a weight bully is a dirty tactic. People like to bring up the fact, well, no, but hey, if you make the weight, you make the weight. Yeah, but now you got 36 hours to rehydrate. And on top of that, you got these special systems like Snack and all that help you cut the weight and still perform well on fight night. So it's not a question of, is it legal? Yeah, it's legal. That's the rules. That now they got 36 hours to be comfy. But that doesn't mean it should be that way. It doesn't mean it doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it correct. It doesn't make it fair. And some people say, well, boxing isn't fair. Well, that's what I'm saying. But so now that's why these people are coming out with the hydration clauses and catch weights, because they're trying to make it fair in their own way. Some people could look at that and say that's unfair. Well, you just said there's no such thing as fair. So it's every man for himself, which is why I think it's stupid for Ryan Garcia to fight at a catch weight. If he really thinks if he falls into that trap of a catch weight again, because that's what some people have said. It's the same thing with Chad Dawson in 2012 against Andre Ward. Chad Dawson had the light heavyweight championship of the world that he beat when he got off of Bernard Hopkins. I don't know why these fucking guys said, oh, I'll fight Andre Ward at 168. So Andre Ward said, well, come on down. You're the one that brought it up. And he decimated Chad Dawson. Now, about 10 plus years later, another Jay Prince represented fighter in Shakur Stevenson is having another guy saying, oh, yeah, I'll fight you at a catch weight. Why would Ryan Garcia say that? But now Ryan Garcia is changing his mind, as he should, because he'd be stupid to fight Shakur Stevenson at a catch weight. Check out what he had to say on Kick. He's out there streaming on Kick now. He was doing a recent episode with David Benavidez. So check this out.
Have a rematch with David. Who? Have a rematch with David Haney. Oh, yeah, but he don't want it right now. Bro. He don't want that shit. Like, bro, I was ready to fight him too. Shakur, he's good, but he wants me to go down to 140. Yeah, that's not and then he wants rehydration clause. Yeah, like, bro, that's pussy. The fuck we doing here? You want to be at, your best. Yeah, we want to see who's gonna win at their best, right? Absolutely. That's what the game's about.
And so, again, some people are going to say, well, Ryan Garcia is the one that brought it up. Well, guess what? Now he's changed his mind. I think he's got the right to change his mind, and I think the facts are on his side. Why the hell would he have to go, wow, for a 140-pound championship? I thought Shakur Stevenson wanted to be a 5-division champ, and that's why people take this title seriously now. People consider Ryan Garcia a champion, even though he didn't do anything to earn the rating in the WBC. But now all of a sudden, people forget about that. See how people are and hypnotized by the sanctioning bodies. First, everyone's shitting on the WBC for stripping Terence Crawford and for, what was the fight with Shaky Foster versus Stephen Fulton? Fulton failed to make weight, and yet the WBC decided to still sanction that fight. Then they put Ryan Garcia up for contender status against Mario Barrios, even though he has done nothing to earn that shot. And people go, my God, the WBC stinks. Now that Ryan Garcia has the belt, people are like, well, he's a champion. He didn't do anything to earn that championship. He beat Barrios, but he didn't do anything to earn the shot to get to Barrios, which just tells you how diluted and devalued these titles are, because it used to be back in the day, you had to fight your way past a bunch of fighters to become the number one contender. Some guys, it took them 10 years to get to contender status back in the 40s and 50s. Because by the time you got to the number one contender status, it meant you fought some of the best guys, if not the best guys, at your weight division. You finally earned that shot. And that's why it meant something to be a champion, because now if you beat the champion, you'd already beaten a whole bunch of good fighters in the build-up to that. So the title meant something. The title doesn't mean anything now because anybody can get a title shot. Ryan Garcia was coming off a loss in his first welterweight fight, and right afterwards he gets a title shot. That's why I don't pay attention to these title belts anymore. So Shakur Stevenson, he shouldn't be thinking, oh, I'm going to be a 5 division champion, because you will not be a champion. Right now, there's no one dominant guy in with the welterweight division. There's no one guy who can be called champion. So, but anyway, I'm prevaricating here. I'm actually going off kilter. The point is, I don't understand why. Shakur Stevenson's hero, Terence Crawford, didn't need a catch weight against Canelo. He jumped in there. And, that's not because the guy fit his dimensions. They were the same height and all that. It's not like he was fighting Hamza Shiraz in there or anything. But he didn't need a catch weight, is what I'm saying. No catch weight, no dehydration clause. Suddenly, Shakur Stevenson feels the need to have one. Also, and by the way, but then see, that also proves that thing that I was talking about earlier, that I don't think Shakur Stevenson walks around 175. Because if he walks around 175, I have a hard time believing he could make 140. Again, Terence Crawford was walking around 170 and making 147, which was impressive and very suspicious. But nevertheless, it's one thing to make 147. It's another one to walk around 175 pounds and make 140. That's a bridge too far, if you ask me. So then, Ryan Garcia, streaming with David Benavides, had this to say.
What fights are you looking forward to?
Bro, I really wanted to fight Shakur bad. I just don't like those people that think they're like, you're not the best, bro. You're not even showing that you're that like that in the ring. Like, it's one thing to win a fight, it's another thing to show, all right, I'm like that.
Yeah.
And he's out here saying, oh, I'm the best. Like, bro, you're not the best fighter, bro. There's a lot of guys that are monsters, bro. You're not a monster.
But I feel like
you're like a puppy.
If he thinks he's the best and he's already willing to go up to 144, just go 3 more pounds. You know what I mean? It's the same shit.
You're not going to struggle. Fuck.
Exactly.
You eating. Yeah.
It's a good point from Benavides. I gotta say, that's a good point. Why ask for a rehydration clause? Now, as to Garcia's point about Shakur Stevenson not being all that, in boxing, you don't necessarily have to be the bravest, the toughest. You know, like they say, you gotta be the smartest. And Shakur Stevenson can nullify most people's offense with his styles, his characteristics, and his skills. But there is a difference between a fighter and a boxer. You can tell the way Shakur Stevenson, when he gets hit, he doesn't react very well. Hence why he fights the way he fights. He tried against Hartunonian because I don't think he knew how hard Hartunonian really hit, and he got stunned there in the 10th round. Same thing against Nakatila. He got stung with that right hand, didn't want any of it, and back foot bitched it. Same thing against De Los Santos. Something happened in the De Los Santos fight. I think it was Sobers who mentioned that in an off-the-air convo where we rewatched the fight, but unfortunately the volume was all screwed up, so I couldn't post it. But whenever he gets hit, he acts very differently. It seems like the plan goes out the window and he says, well, I'm just going to back foot bitch it and hope for the best. I was rewatching Navarrete versus Valdez, the first fight, and Navarrete is a guy who he gets hit. He can get hit with the first shot, but then good luck trying to hit him with the second or third shot because then he becomes very slippery. But he doesn't panic. He's very relaxed in there. So there is a difference in demeanor between a Shakur Stevenson and other fighters. Yes, those fighters don't have the same reflexes and speed that Shakur Stevenson has, but they are certainly more relaxed. And at some point, I'm telling you, that Shakur Stevenson style is going to come to bite him back in the ass. Because when you're... That De Los Santos fight, somebody brought that up to the Shakur Stevenson. If you weren't the A side in that fight, things could have gone wrong for you. And that's precisely what somebody brought up to him, more specifically on a live Instagram thing, whatever it was. Somebody said, if you fight Tank Davis that way, you ain't getting the decision. And Shakur Stevens is like, well, I don't know who made you like the boxing god, but I'm going to fight the way I want to fight. And it's like, okay, keep doing it. They're going to take the decision away from you one day. And you're going to cry robbery. Your fans are going to cry robbery. But the fact is, if you're not doing much, if you're throwing one punch at a time, like in the Lopez fight, it seemed to work out for him. One punch at a time worked. But is it going to work against guys who know how to get on the inside? Because, I mean, we knew Teofimo Lopez's problem was getting in on the inside. He couldn't do it against Jermaine Ortiz, couldn't do it against, what's his name? Against Martin. Oh, no, yeah, is that his name? The Spaniard guy. So it's no surprise he couldn't do it against Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson only managed to shut him down. But he didn't beat him up. He caught him. Wow, caught him. You know, the guy's got scar tissue. Lopez has. I mean, it's not that impressive that he cut him. So I think Ryan Garcia does have a good point, but you can't go in there against Shakur Stevenson and say, well, he fights like a bitch, so it's gonna be, I'm gonna walk him down, I'm gonna dog him down. Nah, you gotta be smart about it. Cepeda gave him a very tough fight, but then again, how many guys are going to be able to throw as much as Cepeda does? Then again, you don't necessarily have to throw as much as Cepeda does. You just got to do what Cepeda did, which is to get on the inside, maybe fire some throwaway shots, and then you fire the big one. Cepeda was a little bit too slow, doesn't hit hard. But Ryan Garcia, I don't know if Ryan Garcia beats Shakur Stevenson, but I think he gives him a much more... I think he gives him a better fight than Teofimo Lopez did, that's for sure. Because Ryan Garcia at least knows how to cut the distance. He's taller than Teofimo Lopez. He's got the range. He's got a couple of more things that would give Shakur Stevenson problems that Teofimo Lopez didn't have. What are people saying in the chat? This is another edition of the BDA Morning Show. Haven't done one in a while, so hopefully if people are enjoying it. What are people saying in the chat here? Hoodie Mike says, stop the cap. His dad is more entertaining than Haney. I don't know who he's talking to. Host of Sober says, if they hit that audience, that's when they cross over from boxing with their community. Yes, see, Sober knows all about demographics and poll numbers and all that. He studies this stuff, and he knows where the trends are. Pugilism says there's ectomorphs, endomorphs, and mesomorphs. People retain muscle mass differently. Yeah, that's what Dr. 805 said. We gotta get back in touch with Dr. 805 because we sort of lost touch with him, but he's got a whole bunch of knowledge about this stuff that he could share with all of you guys out there. Pancho Villa says, these PEDs are getting better and better. Fighters rehydrating heavy used to be all about genetics. Now it's all about getting the right PEDs to be able to rehydrate heavy. That's right. And I'm not even talking about necessarily illegal PEDs, because there is such a thing as, performance-enhancing drug. Caffeine can be a performance-enhancing drug, but you're allowed to take it to a certain degree in boxing bouts. But then there's the illegal PEDs. But then again, that's the question that we've been talking about as it pertains to, say, a Victor Conte guy. What is an illegal PED? If it doesn't exist and it's not cataloged, is it really illegal? Well, the legality is about, well, how much does it boost your performance to the point where it makes it unfair to have that advantage. And that's why I say that weight bullying is a PED. It's a cheating because you're giving one guy is having an unfair advantage. Iceman says Shakur in his 4th division is still bigger than his opponents. That's true, man. What else we got here? Pugilism says Cepeda fight was a good phone booth check. More BDC, Ryan Garcia has a height and reach advantage against Shakur. Rick says Cryan speed won't give him the edge in the fights. Well, it's giving him the edge in a lot of fights so far. Parukua says Ryan more Mexican than Benavides. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but shout out to Parukua. All right, now speaking of fights and people talking a lot, I'm telling you, it's not all the news that I'm pointing out here don't necessarily reflect the best of boxing, right? Because we got people crying, we got alcoholics, we got bipolar disorders, and now Edgar Berlanga is going to be on a show. I think it's the Honey Graham show. I don't know what it's called, the show. It's going to be on the YouTube iHeartRadio. Yeah, I think it's a girl's named Honey Graham. And she interviewed Edgar Berlanga. And this dude, check out some of the things he has to say about the Shiraz fight.
I was like, yo, how does this, how can this just happen like this, And it was a lot of things that, that came about that people started doing their research, and, about, the suspicious hand wraps and stuff with the guy. And it's a lot of weird things, how my face swelled up. So a lot on my right side, my face was swollen. Like I got hit by a pipe, and the left side of my face was like super duper normal. And that was the same hand wrap he left. Like it was a lot. And I was like in a limbo. I went into a bad depression.
After?
Yeah, I wasn't right mentally. I know for sure I wasn't right.
So he's doubling down on the glove thing. The hand wrap thing from Shiraz. Because again, remember, after the fight, he accused, and he couldn't really do it directly, but he was sort of intimating that, hey, something's wrong here. Something is wrong with the gloves. Well, with the Hamza Shiraz's hand wraps. And look, I'm open-minded. So I started looking into it a little bit. What exactly was Berlanga referring to? He says that Shiraz didn't take the hand wraps off from the left hand, which is what Shiraz ended up using to knock out Berlanga. It was the thing that was the punch that started it all, right? It was a left hook, I believe. And then he's a suspicious hand wrap. So I'd have to check that out to see if it's true that they only took one hand wrap away. Or maybe they took one hand wrap away because they didn't have the time to take the other one off before the post-fight interview, in-ring interview. Because I have said it before, it is suspicious when some guys keep their hand wraps. Like Terence Crawford after the Avenesian fight, he had his hand wraps on for the press conference. And remember, that's the fight where his glove exploded. His gloves exploded. And then they exploded against Madrimov as well. So there was something suspicious there with the gloves and him keeping the hand wraps after the fight all the way up to the press conference, which I've never seen before. But Shiraz, did he keep him until the press conference? Or, because, again, wow, they didn't take the left hand wrap off right away. I don't know. I don't know if that's necessarily merits suspicion. Also, Berlanga's wife, after the fight, had also said something about the hand wraps. And I didn't even know about this. So that's why I said I wanna give Berlanga the benefit of the doubt here, just because I do believe strange things can happen in boxing. The wife of Edgar Berlanga is making strong claims about Hamza Shiraz nefariously tampering with his hand wraps last weekend. Okay, so this is 1 week after the fight, July 13, 2025. We're still in awe of Hamza Shiraz's knockout of Berlanga, she said. I'm not the one to speak out often, but this time I can't stay silent, she says. We can take the loss with humility. We always do, but when something doesn't sit right, it's okay to question it. The left hand that dropped Edgar had a hand wrap that looked tampered with, yellow stained, hard and suspicious, and that wrap wasn't even removed after the fight. Let's not ignore what's right in front of us just because you don't like how someone carries themselves in the ring, she says. This is a sport, it's entertainment. What you see is part of the show, but behind it all, a good man with a good heart. Okay, so she's defending Berlanga's antics by saying that he's a good man. And again, that's always the excuse. Oh, they're just selling the fight. So how far can you go to sell a fight is what I'm asking. Anyway, to know Edgar is to love him and will always stand for truth and fairness. All right, so Shiraz did finally end up, because Berlanga brought this up again a couple of weeks ago or a couple of days ago in a live stream that there was something suspicious about the hand wraps. I think he even said it outright in that one, that he believes that the hand wraps were tampered with. So I don't know. And Shiraz said, man, this guy's a bellend or something along those lines. So I don't know if they're going to take him to task, cease and desist. I don't know. But he had more to say here on this Honey German show. Why did I call her Honey Graham? Maybe because I get graham crackers on my mind? I don't know. Hold on a second. There's another clip here from that episode. It's a 15-second clip here.
I was in shock.
A lot of people, even me.
I was like, what the fuck did I just watch?
I was lost. Like, when the fight ended, I was looking up and I seen all the lights. Mm-hmm. And I was even, you know what's crazy? That I wasn't even upset that I lost. I was upset because I said, how? I worked so hard. I was in 10 times more shape than I was for the Canelo. All
right, so the woman interviewing him is like, I was surprised. Like, you were surprised that he lost? Maybe you can be surprised about how he lost, right? Maybe that's what she's trying to say. But I wasn't surprised Berlanga lost. It's Berlanga. He's not that good. He's not. You want to talk about the next Puerto Rican great fighters? You got Collazo, maybe Xander Zayas, but Berlanga ain't it. So I don't understand why they would be so surprised. I understand Berlanga saying that he was disappointed, not so much about how that he lost, but that it actually happened. I understand. I can't even articulate the way what did he say? Hold on a second.
Fight. I was lost.
I was lost, but now I'm found.
The fight ended. I was looking up and I seen all the lights. Mm-hmm. Even you know what's crazy? That I wasn't even upset that I lost. I was upset because I said, how?
Okay, so it's honest. Well, that's part of the package of losing, of the heartache of losing is that how did I lose? Because, I train so hard and I'm supposed to be. Remember, these guys build themselves up in their heads that I can't lose. I'm the best. So when we look at it sometimes, like when a guy loses a competitive fight, right, and we go, he shouldn't feel bad. He should hold his head up that he gave the other guy a good fight. But these guys don't think that way. They want to win. They don't care about second place. So I understand a little bit where he's coming from there. So that's Berlanga. I don't know. What do you guys think is going to happen with this? Do you think Shiraz is going to say, all right, enough is enough. You're casting aspersions on my character. You're accusing me of cheating, which is a very, very, very serious thing there. Look at Antonio Margarito. I think it was his birthday yesterday, and somebody knowingly posted, oh, it's Antonio Margarito's birthday on Twitter. because knowing that he was going to get a bunch of responses. You look into the Antonio Margarito thing, it wasn't as clear-cut as people make it out to be. And to this day, people accuse him of having plaster on his hands, which he didn't. He didn't have plaster on his hands. He had something he wasn't supposed to on the wraps. Remember, if you put water on your hand wraps, that's illegal because you can't have any foreign substances on the wraps. But just because you have a foreign substance doesn't mean you were trying to cheat. So Margarito's reputation has been besmirched forever now because a lot of people just don't they haven't even looked into it. Gabriel Montoya is a guy that looked into it, and Thomas Hauser too. Read up the articles that they posted after the fight. But everyone else just goes by what they hear. So if Berlanga starts saying, so it's like what they say, if you repeat a lie long enough, people start to believe it. And it's the same thing with if Berlanga starts saying, so I don't know if Shiraz is going to start taking legal action on this or something. Because if enough people start spreading this, it could turn out into a narrative that people just start spewing over and over every time Shiraz's name comes up. What are people in the chat saying? I remember Jeff Horn complaining about Crawford's gloves. Interesting. I don't recall that. Has Shakur ever caught a knot up someone's face but Teofimo? I don't really think so, Heisman. That's a good question. But of course, it's Berlanga's autopsy documentary coming. Mr. Versace will narrate. Yeah, that's a dig at Deontay Wilder right there. And his brother, who said that they had the documents from the autopsy. But isn't Deontay Wilder and his brother now at odds or something? Because I think Wilder's brother banged his wife or something. I don't know. The Turk says they call her Honey Graham because that's all this torta eats. Come on. You're going to go after her. She's not even a torta. She looks... Well, I haven't even seen how he looks, but come on. We don't got to go there. Or maybe we do. It's a morning show. Iceman says that's a lyrics to a song. He says, Turkey Al-Ashi guy, nothing will be done. Sid Box says, plaster of Paris, don't piss in my pocket and tell me it's raining, BDA. Well, he didn't have plaster of Paris in his gloves. Read Gabriel Montoya's article and then come back to me because I'm gonna do, one of these days we're gonna do a show. D-Style and at the time when he was doing streams with G Funky, they did a stream about it. They interviewed Montoya, and you will be surprised about what a lot of journalists missed, so-called journalists missed about the Margarito thing. But again, I'm not gonna get into it now, man, because it's enough for one episode. What else we have here? So another in the news as well here, Oshaki Foster. So after Emmanuel Navarrete beat Sugar Nunez, a lot of people say, well, now we need an Oshaki Foster fight to determine who the champion is at 130 pounds. But unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen. Because Oshaki Foster right now appears to be, he used to fight for Top Rank for a while there, but now he's over at the PBC. And Top Rank is over at the Zone, so who knows if that fight can happen. But on top of that, I'd rather see the way it seems like it's going to happen is it's going to be, what's his name, Navarrete versus Charlie Suarez, a rematch. I think Suarez deserves his rematch, by the way. And Navarrete was winning that fight, but again, he did get sliced up because of a punch, so that should have been stopped that should have been a TKO stoppage. And I don't know why they didn't turn it into a TKO stoppage. They turned it into no contest. So anyway. Navarrete can beat Charlie Suarez, but he just needs to prove it in the ring this time and not get cut. So I do think he deserves his rematch. But I also want to see who the best on 130 pounds is. But Oshaki Foster apparently might be taking on Raymond Ford. Oshaki Foster and Raymond Ford have been going at it for at least 2 years now, I think, on Twitter. Going back and forth. They really seem to dislike each other. If guys have a fight lined up against one another and they start talking, okay, I can understand they start talking because they're future opponents and the fight is set, and so they have to sort of talk themselves up to the fight, right? Like, oh, I really hate this guy. So they use that anger to train as motivation. So they sort of build up this artificial anger, this artificial animosity, and their competitive juices start flowing. So it's easy to start disliking the other guy. But then after the fight is over, they shake hands, blah, blah. But this, when they haven't even had a fight signed for 2 years and they're going at each other on the internet, I don't think they're playing it up. I don't think they're secretly friends or whatever. I think they really dislike each other. That's my perception, unless evidence to the contrary comes out, I think these guys really dislike each other. And so maybe that's why they're trying to make the fight. But according to Dan Rayfield, that fight is not as close to being made as previously thought. He says, according to Carl Moretti of Top Rank, Oshaki Foster versus Raymond Ford 130 title fight isn't as close as Eddie Hearn has said. This is from my boxing notebook. Take a few seconds and sign up at Substack. So that's what he's saying. He's saying that fight isn't close to being done. And I think it's an interesting fight because Oshaki Foster has built himself up into a tricky fighter. He's sort of like a light version of Shakur Stevenson. He does the same thing Shakur Stevenson does with the jumping back from punches. And again, very, very difficult to pin down. Not invincible, as we saw against Rocky Hernandez and against, what's his name? Conceição. But he's very tricky. Now, some people might be overblowing the Stephen Fulton fight a little bit, because Stephen Fulton had just recently moved up to 126 pounds. And then all of a sudden decides to jump up to 130 for this Oshaki Foster fight. So I wasn't surprised that Oshaki Foster beat him. I was surprised that he was able to pretty much whitewash him, 12-0. But again, it's Stephen Fulton's a shorter guy, smaller guy. And if he could not box Oshaki Foster, what was plan B? He wasn't going to be able to walk him down or fight him on the inside. So it was a bad style matchup for Stephen Fulton. But like I said, Oshaki Foster still a tricky fighter. Raymond Ford, very quick-handed. He has also recently moved up to 130 pounds, but he's got better physical dimensions than Fulton. And what I like about Raymond Ford is that he's not a runner. He likes to trade a little bit. I'm not saying he's a slugger, but he kind of got intimidated a little bit there against Nick Ball in the middle rounds. But he goes to the body very well. He's got fast hands, so it's an intriguing fight. And I would like to see it if they can make it. Another thing here, interestingly enough, Moses Itauma was talking with Ariel Helwani, and they were talking, just a bunch about potential fights, blah, blah, blah. And he made some interesting observations. Check this out. Hold on a second.
Well, your fight's around the same time as theirs, and you're all Queensberry guys. Any chance you win, you fight the winner?
If I win, I'll fight the winner. I mean, yeah, if Frank Warren allows it. We're all Queensberry boys, isn't it? So
yeah,
I guess it's kind of Frank Warren. He has to open.
By the way, that guy who made the video, I haven't even seen it yet, but there was a person on YouTube who made a video that's saying that Moses Itauma is sounding punchy. And I did read the comment section of the video, and people were saying, no, it's not that he's punchy, it's that he's high. Whatever he is, he does sound, and again, I know boxers aren't the most articulate individuals, but he does sound like he's mumbling a little bit.
The gate for us to be able to. Obviously, if Fabio wins, then we're at the same gym. It might be a bit awkward, but obviously, if the Barb wins, it'll probably be more likely to happen.
Have you guys talked about that yet? What would happen, could happen if you have to fight each other?
I mean, one of us would have to leave the gym.
Yeah. Have you discussed it?
No, never. It's never been like a conversation. I've got Jermaine Franklin. He's got Daniel Dubois. Like, I've never really fought Wardley as my opponent. Like, obviously, when he knocked out Justice Hooney, like, everybody saw how excited and how happy I was.
Yeah.
For him. So I've never really seen him as an opponent. No.
Do you spar often?
No, we've never sparred.
Never sparred?
No, never sparred.
Any particular reason?
Ben likes to keep the gym as a team environment.
Now that is interesting because people spar each other. I mean, like we were mentioning earlier, Shakur Stevenson and Keyshawn Davis, they're friends. They spar all the time. And again, they're not part of the same camp. But it's not unusual for guys to spar. I mean, the Benavides people, they're from the same camp and they spar each other. You want to make each other better. You want to improve. And again, you shouldn't take it personal. I mean, I know some people with thin skin, they take sparring personal, they take boxing personal. Now, I'm not saying that that's what happens in the Ben Davison camp, but I mean, it is curious that they don't even spar each other. Now, never say never. Moses Itauma, Fabio Wardley. People fall out of friendships. People leave gyms. So maybe that's one way that fight could happen. First of all, Fabio Wardley has to make it past Dubois. And I don't know if he makes it past Dubois. Wardley has the one-hitter quitter, kind of like Deontay Wilder. I mean, he's a little bit better than Deontay Wilder. Dubois has a better jab, though, than Wardley. And we saw that how Joseph Parker was getting that jab in. Now, it's a different type of jab, the Parker jab from the Dubois jab, because Parker has more of an up jab and might be a little bit quicker than Dubois, but Dubois is deceptively quick for a guy his size. So I don't know who wins that one. I really don't. But speaking of Moses Itauma, he has to get past Jermaine Franklin first as well. And he said, well, if Dubois wins, then of course we would fight. So is he rooting for Dubois to win, or is he rooting for his stablemate, Warley? It's a bit of a conundrum, isn't it? Speaking of conundrums and people shaped like drums, Terence Crawford still going on various podcasts. I just saw he was on another podcast. I don't know why it was recommended to me, but he was on another podcast. He's doing the rounds. He can't stay out of the limelight. And I kept saying that it wouldn't surprise me if he comes back. Well, if he does come back, it's not going to be anytime soon, because check out how he was looking against Lester Martinez. That's Terence Crawford in the wife beater. Look at that. Looking a little bit chunky there. I can believe that what he said, that he used to weigh 175 or even 180 when he's out of the ring. Look at that. Is that what happens when the snack wears off? Is that what happens when Victor Conte passes away? No, I'm kidding. No, but I mean, even Victor Conte passing away, there's still some Russian dude in charge of snack. And so even just because, people said that, Crawford retired as soon as Victor Conte passed away. I mean, believe me, snack they still have people there who know what they're doing. So I don't necessarily believe that. But yeah, look at that. Terence Crawford looking chunky in there. If he does come back, he could whip himself up in shape quickly. Because like Dr. Rado 5 said, he's got good genetics. But it doesn't seem like it's going to be next month. That's for sure. But what do you guys think? You think Crawford comes back? Because again, he can't stay out of the limelight. This dude has self-esteem issues, confidence issues. People look at that and say, how can he have confidence issues? Look at everything he's achieved. Again, that's from the outside looking in. Inside, he's still the little boy whose mother never told him she loved him. And that came out when he was doing that interview there with Aiden Ross or whatever his name is, where he said, the reason why I retired was because no matter what I do, people ain't never going to give me credit. It's like, people ain't never going to give you credit. That whole boxing world, you did what they wanted. Everyone was wishing that Crawford would win that fight against Canelo. And everybody was slaughtering all over his dick after that fight. And he still believes that he didn't get any credit. That's how deluded he is. So he probably will be coming back one of these days. Speaking of perceptions, shout out to Perception, by the way. He hasn't been on here. Maybe if I open up the panel. If I open up the panel, I'm very curious to see who jumps on. Maybe some old friends, people we haven't talked to in a long time.
Pull my hair and slap me across the face and call me a bitch.
Oh. Why did Perception say that? I can't believe he said that. But speaking of perceptions and people perceiving certain things, Carlos Adames, not all that impressed with Shiraz's destruction of Berlanga. Contrary to that radio hostess who was interviewing Berlanga, she said, I was surprised. Well, not so Adames, who has a fight against Amo Williams tomorrow, by the way. I got to tell you, before I get to this, I'm looking forward to that Adames-Amo Williams fight now. Well, I'll tell you why later, though. Let's get to this. So, Adames says he wasn't surprised, he wasn't impressed, and he said he had this to say. Hold on a second. He said, to be honest, that didn't surprise me at all, Adames told the Ring. The reason why was Berlanga is a trash talker. He's a B-side opponent. He's not an elite champion. So it looks like more for Shiraz than it actually was. It was a good fight for good money, but that victory means nothing for me. Oh boy, I think Adames is still a little angry about what happened in Riyadh against Shiraz. And by the way, I rewatched that fight there, the Shiraz one. I watched it a couple of months ago, Adames Shiraz. And I'd forgotten that, Shiraz, after the fight, first of all, he changed trainers, he moved up in weight, so it's a tacit way of saying, hey, you see, I wasn't at my best on 160 pounds. Then he also said he hurt his right hand. So there was an excuse there for Shiraz. I don't know if that's true or not, that he really hurt the hand, but it was swollen. But then again, hands are swollen a lot, oftentimes, after a fight, because, I mean, you get a little glove on, and you're punching a guy upside the head, in the head, whatever, hard surfaces. It's normal for your hand to swell up after a fight. I don't know how hurt it was, though. I have to go back and watch that. But yeah, Adames is saying he wasn't impressed. Hey, maybe if he beats Amo Williams, he gets himself a rematch against Adames, against Shiraz at 168 pounds. But he's got to get past Amo Williams first. And Amo Williams, for a guy who got blown out by Shiraz, still has a lot of confidence. Austin Ammo Williams to Carlos Adames. Bro, I am going to hurt you, he says. Austin Williams and his trainer Kevin Cunningham, underrated trainer by the way, plan to turn a matchup with WBC middleweight title holder Carlos Adames into a dogfight. But I want to hear exactly what he had to say. What was the quote? Cunningham said, the evolution of Ammo is a continuous process. Oh, the evolution. Are you ready for the next evolution? I hope Adames is ready for a fight because he's going to have to fight a dogfight. We know what we are here for, Cunningham said. Adames is going to give his title away. We've got to take it. Oh, he's not going to give it. Okay, he's not going to give it away. We got to take it. If you want to rip that title away from me, you need to be sure that you have the conditions to be able to do that, Adames said. So he's quite talkative himself. So, by the way, Ammo Williams was also casting aspersions on Adames pulling out of the fight in February. Remember, they were supposed to fight on the Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson undercard. This dude, a day before he pulled out of the fight, was saying, easy work, Williams said. Then the next day, he was so sick, he had to call 911. Then Adames replied by saying, it's very easy to speak when you are in front of a microphone, but I do my talking in the ring. And then Ammo Williams, finally, this is the quote I was looking for. He said, it's going to be a real fight. Well, why wouldn't it be a real fight? Anyway, it is no thinking. I'm just going to fight him. We're really going to fight, bro. I'm going to hurt you. And then he got in his face. I did see that on Twitter. Let's see if we can find the clip here. Ammo Williams Adames face-off. Because, I mean, but that's the thing. How can you be so confident after, Ammo Williams hasn't really done anything to be that confident about. And I'm going to tell you, man, Adames, he didn't look all that great against Gaucher, and he hasn't been all that active either. I mean, he hasn't fought since the Shiraz fight. I don't think, right? I don't think he's fought since Shiraz. Maybe I'm wrong. But even if he did, and it was the Shiraz, the Gaucher fight, I don't think, I don't think Ammo Williams, unless he powers up or something, I don't know if he can beat Adames. I'm going to get into it why a little bit more here, but let me just find this clip here. This is from the press conference, Matchroom. Hold on a second.
La segunda oportunidad no va a pasar como pasó en Nueva York. He said we gave you an opportunity. No va a pasar como pasó en Nueva York. We got to fight. What happened last time. I said what happened. No va a pasar lo que pasó en Nueva York. No le So
Adames is saying what happened in New York, meaning the pulling out of the fight, is not going to happen this time. So he's going at it with Cunningham, the trainer, instead of Ammo Williams. And Ammo Williams, I don't like that body language. Look at how he's sitting down. He's sitting down like a little kid waiting for his parents to pick him up from kindergarten. He's got his hands covering his crotch, shoulders kind of hunched up a little bit. I don't like that body language at all, man. Let me tell you. And I'm no body language expert. Believe me, I'm not one of those dudes that looks at, he's gonna. But that is weird. You can't tell me that is not a weird body language right there.
Don't hope that what happened in New York happens.
We don't need to hear what happened from me. We don't need to hear what happened. No, we don't need to hear nothing. Tú necesitas hablar conmigo, que soy tu peleador. No como entrenador, conmigo, que soy tu peleador. We already asked him what happened.
See, I missed this. I didn't even know this happened.
Fight, right? So I tell the trainer what happened last time.
Algo que pasó esa noche es en la conferencia de prensa. Dios ayudó a Amon porque él vino y rezó y Dios nos golpeó tan duro que nos mandó al hospital.
Okay, he's saying that the first fight where Adames pulled out, he says that Ammo Williams was praying so hard that God knocked out Adames before the fight. Meaning he's trying to intimate that Ammo Williams was praying for Adames to pull out of the fight. Where's the face-off? Okay.
Knocked out by Hamza Sheeraz. The experience, the big edge for Carlos Adames. They have one shared opponent, and that is Hamza Sheeraz, you mentioned. Ammo Williams knocked out by Hamza Sheeraz in 2024. Carlos Adames.
Look at Ammo Williams, where he's nuts.
That was a fight that
Again, he goes from sitting down like a little kid at kindergarten to now all of a sudden acting that way, very, very energetic. I don't know if that's false confidence. I don't know if he's trying to work his way up to that. But I don't know. Maybe he powers up on Saturday. I don't know. Again, there's different ways of looking at this. Number one, Adames didn't look all that hot against Gaucher, right? And against Shiraz, he was getting his head jabbed off. I know, Adames did very well after the 5th round. He started working Shiraz's body. And a lot of us thought he won the fight. But again, he was getting hit a lot with that jab. That length gave him some trouble. So maybe Amo Williams, who is taller than Adames, can make that happen. By the way, yes, indeed, he hasn't fought since the Shiraz fight. Adames hasn't fought since the Shiraz fight, and that was February 2025, so it's a year-long layoff. Now again, nowadays, that doesn't seem to affect these guys that much because their opponents don't fight that often either, right? So it's that the inactivity is not that, doesn't become that significant anymore. But it is still a year-long layoff. Amo Williams last fought this year. He did have a late replacement in January. It wasn't February. Oh, it might as well have been February, late January, against Wendy Toussaint. Then before that, he fought in the summer of 2025, and then before that, he fought in March 2025. So he's been active. Patrice Volny, who's from my neck of the woods here, he beat him by unanimous decision. Then he beat Ivan Vasquez by stoppage, and then he got that win over Wendy Toussaint, which I thought was a stoppage. Turns out it was a decision win. But again, Amo Williams, though, he's not all that either, man, because we saw how Adames was able to work his way on the inside against Hamza Shiraz. So if he could do it against Hamza Shiraz, he could potentially do it against Austin Williams. Also, I didn't like how Williams looked as he was rising through his career against Steve Rolls. When he fought Rolls-Royce, remember, Rolls-Royce, okay, he gave Berlanga trouble too, but he also got knocked out by Golovkin. Now, he gave Golovkin trouble too. He was landing some shots, and it's no shame to lose against Golovkin by stoppage. But then Steve Rolls ended up losing to another guy from my neck of the woods, Stephen Butler, by stoppage. So, if you just look at records of who he fought, again, we can't do boxing math here. It seldom works. So we're not going to do that. But still, I don't know what to make of this. Depends on which Amo shows up. If he has improved, he could potentially pull off a win over Adames. But I think Adames he knows how to fight southpaws. He knows how to work his way inside, as we saw against Shiraz. We saw how Steve Rolls gave Amo Williams the business. And yes, that was about almost 3 years ago. But again, I don't know what to make of this. I don't know what to make of this fight. So I got to defer to the chat. Let's go to the chat, see what people have to say. Shout out to all of you guys for joining us here on this breakfast edition of the BD Morning Show. Hopefully we do more of this. I'm going to start trying to do more because I really like getting up in the morning and just doing shows. I got more energy. Del Boy says, I got a weird feeling Williams beats Adames. Whoa, head tells me Adames, but gut instinct says Williams. Again, it's difficult to pick Williams because he hasn't done anything of note. But then again, he did hurt Sheeraz in there too. So he had his moments against Shiraz. It's not like he's a pushover. Puro Sur, shout out to Puro Sur, who says, I believe Adames actually got sick due to how quick it was rescheduled. Yeah, maybe. That's a good point. Iceman says, you notice that boxers say it a lot. This is going to be a real fight. Yeah, what does that mean anyway? This is going to be a real fight. Wow, so that means what? You're not going to back foot bitch it? Which is something that you usually do? Or what does that mean? I don't get it. More BDC says, both Adames and Shiraz ducked Janibek. Well, Janibek just got stripped of his title finally, I think. So who knows what's going to happen with that dude, with the PEDs. What was it, Meldonium that he got caught with? Yeah, Janibek really fell off, man. Really fell off. I don't know what he was thinking. JJ says, Caribbean Spanish, not so easy to understand. Jason Green says, Adames will KO Williams, in my opinion. Amo is too emotional and will leave himself open too much. That's it. I think he might, I think Jason might be right. Because you saw how Amo Williams was sitting down there, shoulders hunched up a little bit, very inactive. And then all of a sudden, as soon as they do the face-off, he starts clapping his hands, starts jumping up and down a little bit. It seems like he's trying to work his way up, or himself up, into a state that is unnatural for him. More BDC says, guys like Charles Conwell and Jorge Garcia Perez would knock out Adames and Shiraz. Really? But those guys are 154 pounders. That's how little you think of Adames and Shiraz? Interesting. Jay Perez says Amo Williams is very limited. Adames will knock him out. That's the thing. I think Amo Williams is very limited. That's a good way of describing it. Pudo says I'm an Amo, so rooting for him, but Bronco a level better. Shout out to Sobers, who says Amo Williams with a butt plug in the ring is undefeated. Yeah, he's talking about that in the build-up to the what was it, Shiraz fight. He had a fur tail hanging out of his ass. And it looked like it was one of those fur butt plugs that the porn stars wear or something. I don't know. Morbid Diseases went to Sen got destroyed by Charles Conwell. Ah, okay, I get what you're saying now. I get what you're saying. Delbo says Amo looked like he was about to Hulk up. Exactly. It's never a good sign when a guy who's not a monster tries to act like one outside the ring. It's almost like, what are you trying to do here? Who are you trying to convince? You're not convincing me, that's for sure. But hey, you never know. He might end up convincing us in the ring. Some people in the chatters are picking him to win. They're picking Amo to win, so who knows what could happen there. Also in the news, Oscar Duarte has found himself another fight. So he was supposed to fight Keyshawn Davis also on that January 31st card, I believe, if memory serves me correctly. And Keyshawn Davis ended up, Keyshawn Davis, Richardson Hitchens. I don't know why I'm conflating the names, but Duarte was supposed to fight Richardson Hitchens, and Hitchens didn't fight him. And now apparently Hitchens is going to fight Lindolfo Delgado, who's his mandatory. So Bucho was correct saying, Bucho was saying, why did this guy really want to fight Duarte? Did he pull out because he didn't really want to fight him? Well, some people were telling him, no, you're going to look stupid when the fight happens. Well, apparently the fight's not going to happen anytime soon. So now Duarte is going to be fighting on the Benavides Zurdo card in May. And his opponent is going to be Angel Fierro. You might remember Fierro. Fierro, by the way, means iron in Spanish. And this guy is iron tough. He went to war against what's his name? Isa Cruz. And Duarte is another guy that's a come forward guy. He doesn't step back. He doesn't back foot bitches. So it could be an entertaining fight. That's for sure. So Oscar Duarte landing himself another fight very soon here. Not losing a lot of time. And it's good. These guys got to get active. They can't wallow around outside the ring for 6 months waiting for another fight. Kelly Plant also in the news. He said, hold on a second. Kelly Plant breaks down how Thurman can beat Fundora. So he's one of those dudes that's saying that that Thurman might have a shot here against a towering Inferno. He said it's difficult because he got the long arms to punch you from a distance, Plant said. But at the same time, something that's different about him is how good he's able to fight on the inside. He's talking about Fundora. He's able to throw sharp, short punches on the inside. Then they talk about how Thurman is up against it because he's 37 years old, he's inactive, and he's been inactive for the past about 45 years now. 6 years, actually. Caleb Blando said one of the keys to victory for Thurman is not backing out with his hands down. Sometimes when he pulls away with his hands down. Thurman could run into trouble if he finds himself pulling out with his hands down because he's got a guy who's got an 80-inch reach. That's true. If you watch that, how he got dropped against Pacquiao, Thurman, he was backing straight up, hands down, chin up in the air because he'd managed to do that against other guys. But this time he was fighting a guy, and he found out the hard way, the way numerous Pacquiao opponents found out the hard way, that this little short guy is faster, way faster than you think. And he can cut the distance way faster. I remember Juan Manuel Marquez once said that in an interview. He said, the first time I fought Pacquiao, I said, this dude, I'm going to bully him. Because when he stepped in the ring with him, he said, he's shorter than me. Because he's shorter, it gave Marquez the impression that Pacquiao being shorter gave Marquez the impression that he was also smaller. So Marquez thought, okay, it's going to be easy. And he was tagging Pacquiao in the first minute of that fight, first minute and a half. He's tagging Pacquiao with some flush shots. And then what happened? Pacquiao fired at 1-2, and Marquez said that. He said he cut that distance way faster than I anticipated. I didn't see it coming, obviously. And that's what Thurman found out the hard way. That he couldn't do some of the things that he was doing against other opponents. He couldn't do that against Pacquiao. But even in the Josecito Lopez fight, if you rewatch when he got hurt in that fight, I forget which round it was, he was backing straight up with his hands down. So Plant is seeing that. And if he does that against the incredible reach of Fundora, it could be trouble because Tim Tszyu too. Tim Tszyu is good at gauging the distance, by the way. And you could see that he was having a hard time dealing with Fundora's reach because against a guy at 154 pounds, when you think you're out of range against Fundora, you're not out of range because of that long reach. So that might be the factor here that ends up biting Keith Thurman in the ass in that fight. But then again, my other thing is Keith Thurman has very good footwork though. Yeah, you can drop him, you can hurt him to the body, but he's got very good footwork, circling away from opponents, getting his bearings back. And when's the last time that Fundora fought somebody with good footwork? When's the last time that happened? Tim Tszyu is not a good. First of all, he doesn't have a guard, so he was wide open for those shots. Brian Mendoza has good footwork, but for some reason he allowed himself to get pieced up, and then before he struck with a left hook. Who else did Fundora fight? Erickson Lubin doesn't really have that great of footwork. He's not a mover per se. He's a boxer puncher. He's a counter puncher. He wants to stay in place to counter. He's not, like I say, he's not a mover. So who else has Fundora fought that's a mover? That Spaniard guy. Remember he fought that Spaniard guy? What was his name again? Oh, I forget his name. He was undefeated when he fought him, and he made him look bad. Then there's also the Mexican dude who just recently lost to Colin Walsh. That's the guy's not a mover. So you get what I'm saying, right? He hasn't really fought any movers. And Keith Thurman has a type of footwork where if he wants to, maybe he can go the distance against Fundora. I don't know. But again, like Kelly Plant is saying, backing up with your hands down, chin up in the air against Fundora could be trouble. Could be mighty trouble. And also, again, 37 years old, Keith Thurman. Think about Keith Thurman's schedule. Sergio Garcia, thank you, Dilbo. Yeah, that's the dude. And who ended up beating him up? Tony Harrison ended up, I think, completely outboxing Sergio Garcia. And then Ioannis Tellez ended up stopping Garcia. So again, that win didn't really age well for Fundora. Not that it should have either, even if Garcia hadn't lost, because like I said, Fundora didn't look good against Garcia in that fight. Couldn't really do much to Garcia in terms of damage. But it's amazing that Thurman is 37 years old, and his best win in the last 5 years is against Mario Barrios. He couldn't even draw Barrios, by the way. At least Garcia managed to do it. This guy couldn't even do it. So Thurman, he had, what was it, 2 fights in 2019? 0 in 2020, 0 in 2021, 1 in 2022. And again, I mentioned this in the last episode. The last time Keith Thurman, when he fought Barrios, what was it, January or February 2022? We hadn't even seen, Ryan Garcia was still undefeated. Canelo hadn't even lost to Bivol yet. Crawford Spence hadn't fight. The people were that was a big talking point in 2022. When is Crawford Spence gonna happen? That's how long ago that fight was. He fights Jarvis, and he hasn't fought since. And I know that the Fundora fight should have happened last September, and then Fundora got hurt. But then again, Keith Thurman was supposed to fight Tim Tszyu back in 2024, and they pulled the PBC pulled the old Guatemalan snatch away. So I can't believe how inactive Keith Thurman has been. And what's his best win overall? Because he was talking about how the Fundora fight is probably gonna get him in the Hall of Fame, which it probably will with the low standards of the International Boxing Hall of Fame nowadays. I think anybody can. I think Sean Porter's gonna get in. Danny Garcia is gonna get in. Anyway, the point is, what is Keith Thurman's legacy at this point? He really needs this win for his legacy because at 37 years old, how much time does he have left? How much speed does he have left? He beat Sean Porter. It was a war, but he beat him. He did beat Danny Garcia, but it wasn't really that impressive a win. But he beat him. And that's pretty much it. He had some good wins against, at the time, was Chavez. Omar Chavez, was that his name? He was an Argentinian guy, undefeated at the time. At the time, that was a good win. He beat Jesus Soto Caraz, who I think had upset Andrew Berto prior to that. So that was a decent win. Bondu? Is that another one of his top wins? I mean, see that it's he beat Carlos Quintana on the way up on HBO, but by that time Quintana was done. So I mean, really, what's his legacy? The Garcia and Sean Porter wins. He needs to beat Fundora. Do you guys think Thurman can land the same left hook that Mendoza did against Fundora? And can he land it enough times to win a decision? And can he land it enough times or hard enough to maybe hurt or maybe even stop Fundora? Is this version of Fundora the same one that lost to Mendoza? That's a good question. And because Thurman has good feints, by the way. An underrated and, dare I say, lost art nowadays. Now, you don't see a lot of guys feinting. Navarrete is a guy who feints a lot. But you don't see many feinters anymore. And Keith Thurman has very good feints. He'll hit you to the body with a right hand. He'll hit you to the body with a right hand. And then before you know it, whoop, gazelle hook. A gazelle punch, a leaping left hook. And then it's a 1-2, and then it's a jab, and it's a jab to the body, and then a right to the body, and then before you know it, whoop, that left hook again. But I don't know if he's going to be, who knows if he's got the speed, the spring in his legs, or the reflexes to be able to get to Fundora. It's a young man's game, and young is not something that Thurman is right now. What are people saying in the chat? Shout out to everybody out there. The Turk says there was a hyperactive kid like Ammo in my fourth grade class. Quiet and not too bright, but an absolute monster during recess. Hopefully they didn't put him on the Ritalin or the Adderall, because that's what they do now with these kids. They just fry their brains with drugs. Rooster Tiger Karate says, should De La Hoya negotiate with the Iranians since Saudi boxing is dead? Yeah, what's going to happen with Saudi Arabia, man, and the Riyadh? I don't think we're going to see any Riyadh season events in Saudi Arabia anytime soon, because I don't want to get too political here, but what's proven now is that the United States bases over there in the Gulf it was all a bunch of fluff. They got run out of there real quickly, and and then on top of that, now the Gulf states are mad at the Americans because they can't or won't defend them against the Iranians. They can't defend them, they won't, and then they're helping that certain little country in the Middle East now more than they are helping their own Gulf state. And the Gulf states, they invested about $4 trillion in the USA, and what are they getting in return? Bupkas, as they say in the community. They're not getting anything. Or like they say in the other community, ugats. They're getting ugats. So, yeah, man, I don't know what's going to happen with these. They were also holding events, boxing events in Dubai, I think, or another one of those Gulf states, Arabian countries. And I don't think we're going to see that anytime soon. Who wants to go there when you're stuck? You know, if the Iranians start bombing, you're stuck there and you got no protection. Delboy says Duarte is always a fun watch. Wouldn't mind seeing him in there with Tito Mercado soon. Oh yes, Tito Mercado and Duarte. That's a fight I hadn't thought of. That's a good fight. And Tito Mercado he's got quick, heavy fists, so he's gonna be a problem. But we need to see him in there against somebody else, and because Pedraza, Ashot Pedraza, okay, not all that impressed. The last guy he fought, what was his name? Moran, I think. Again, he's a guy that other prospects have beaten. So okay, you're showing us that you can beat guys that other prospects have beaten. So you're at that level thereof. But now you got to fight someone who's gonna throw back. He also beat what's the guy's name? Noshengi, Dongeni. I forget how you pronounce his name. African dude. I think he's from Namibia, or I forget where he's from. But he's a guy that oftentimes gives prospects a lot of trouble. He gave Murataya trouble. I think he gave Devin Haney trouble too. Ironically enough, the only guy who's Mercado couldn't stop him, by the way. Ironically enough, the only guy who stopped him recently is Barboza, who is not a puncher. So make of that what you will. More BDC says Keyshawn Davis should fight Oscar Duarte. That would be a good fight. I think Keyshawn Davis beats him because he has the power to punch through Duarte's guard, but I don't know. I don't know what could happen there. Earl Stevens says BDA distracting us from the Epstein files. It's not me, man. It's the conflict in the Middle East. Delboy says Thurman will be out by the 6th. He will get ran through. Oh, you think he's going to get stopped by that 6th round? Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Pudu says, you say Iran, like Matchat says horses. Did I say Iran? No, I didn't say Iran. I said Iran. Iran. I'll even say it with the Spanish pronunciation so it sounds a little bit more Arabic. Iran. Adam Hurley says, congratulations to John Fury for not supporting his own child, Tyson, and saying he's a total bum. Congratulations. Sergio Garcia, yeah, that's what Delboy had said. More BDC says Thurman wasn't a puncher at 147. Well, he wasn't a bad puncher. I'll say that. He managed to hurt Sean Porter. I think he managed to hurt him twice in that fight. He managed to stun Danny Garcia, who was iron-chinned at 140 and 147. So he could crack. But yeah, okay. I'm not saying, I don't think anybody ever said that he was a one-punch hitter-quitter like a Wardley would be. But he did have good punching power with those fast hands specifically because he knew how to set up the shots, the punch that you don't see coming. But at the highest level, yeah, you're right. He wasn't exactly laying out the competition. But you saw that he did manage to stun Barrios a bunch of times, and the way he took out Jarvis there is indicative that against lower level opposition, yeah, he can still crack. Delboy says Thurman is part of the lost generation alongside the likes of Leo Santa Cruz. Should have done a lot more in his career. PBC ruined a lot of fighters' legacies. The lost generation, that is a very good and apt description and term, label, whatever you want to call it, of a lot of these guys. It's true, the lost generation. Robert Guerrero, even though Guerrero actually was doing well. Again, you got to remember, a lot of these dudes who used to be with Golden Boy Promotions. And then once the PBC took over in 2014, took over those careers, that's when it all went downhill. I'll say it too. Look at Danny Garcia. I always say it, by the way. Often say it. Danny Garcia's career prior to 2014, when Golden Boy was at the helm, he fought Nate Campbell, Kendall Holt, Zab Judah. Who else did he fight? Eric Morales twice. Amir Khan. And then Matisse, which is still his best win. Those are 6 solid build fights. Some of those were build-up fights. Where they were building him up properly. Then what happens? 2014, when they take the company out from under Deloy's cocaine-covered feet, he fights Rod Salka. I think the first fight was Herrera, right? Which he should have lost in Puerto Rico. Then Rod Salka. And then he fights with Malignaggi and Robert Guerrero, and it's like, what are these fights? All right, something happened. Am I still in the air here? Something crashed here. I don't know what it was. Hold on a second. Okay. The chat crashed. I don't know why. And now there's some gray thing there. Yeah, the alerts for some reason. Yeah, I don't know what happened here, fellas. Sorry about that. Oh, no sound. Are we still on? Fuck. Okay, we're back. Okay. Yeah, sorry, but something crashed here. It wasn't the internet this time. It was something else. I don't know what occurred here, but hopefully we're back here. We're almost done. I want to open up the StreamYard, see who jumps on, just to talk to a couple of people here. How long have we been on for, by the way? Gypsy, by the way, is sending me messages saying, look at it. I looked it up. He says Thurman is getting killed by Fundora. They're going to throw in the towel. Thurman's legs are gone. Well, I say this, man. I'll say this. If his legs are gone, then yeah, he's in trouble. Because like I said, that's a big part of his repertoire. He needs those legs. I'm curious about why the thing crashed in the first place, by the way. Where are we at with the memory? Memory is good. CPU, GPU is good. I don't know what happened. That was weird. A little worrisome too. If I get more RAM, is that gonna help with the forget about when the internet goes down? That's a whole other thing. But if I get more RAM, is that gonna help with the memory? Because it said memory. It said my memory was donezo, and that's why something cut off there. So if I get more RAM for people out there, PC people, is that gonna help? Let me know. Let me know. Now, yes, okay, we're back here with the chat. Cut out for a second. Okay, so yeah, like Gypsy's saying, if the legs are gone, then he's in trouble. Thurman, that is, he's in trouble. I also wanted to talk a little bit about Benavides versus whatchamacallit, versus Zurdo, because I was rewatching Zurdo versus Chris Billum Smith. Very entertaining fight. I was surprised at how good it was, and I was surprised that Zurdo was able to win that fight. But I'm watching that Zurdo fight, and then I said, okay, let me rewatch the last time Benavides fought a southpaw, which was the Morel fight. And obviously Morel faster than Zurdo, but then I saw the size difference too. Zurdo looked way heavier. And I'm thinking, whoa, that's he's slower, but he's heavier, and he's a little bit more accurate with his shot. So how is that going to look against Benavides? But then I said, the problem with a guy, and I think Zurdo's going to commit the same mistake that a lot of these guys make when they fight Benavides. He's going to go in there, and he's going to try to counter him. He's going to try to do one punch at a time. And that does not work against Benavides. It doesn't. That the one punch counter at a time. You know, I was rewatching. Chief and I were doing this historical shows, right, where we talk about old fights and all that, and we're talking about how Eddie Futch trained Montel Griffin to fight Roy Jones, and how he trained him to fight Ken Norton to fight Ali. Ali and Roy Jones, two unorthodox guys, right? Very athletic, relying a lot on athleticism, breaking rules. You can't try to counter these dudes. If you try to counter them, that they punch you, and then you try to counter them, they're out of there by the time you try to counter because they're that fast. You got to punch with them, right? Which I know is difficult to do, but that's the way you got to do. Also, he said, Eddie Futch had said something about jabbing, because they're going to back up. Then once they back up, you go to the body. You don't go big upstairs, you go to the body. Now, against Benavidez, I don't think you jab him and he's going to back up because he's not that type of fighter. But you can't let him finish off getting off those combinations off and then try to counter him because he puts those gloves up very quickly. I've said it before. Look at the film analysis that we've done on this channel. Benavidez is very quick at transitioning between offense and defense. And even if he doesn't block him, he's got another line of defense, which is leaning back. So he's got very good reflexes too. So this whole thing of, I'm going to counter him, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You got to punch with him. Now, the problem with Benavidez is he has led a less than stellar lifestyle outside the ring, so that could catch up to him. Also, we don't know how he's going to carry the weight. He says that he's going to be good at cruiserweight because he's not going to have to kill himself to make weight anymore, but neither did Chavez Jr. Chavez Jr. didn't have to kill himself once he moved up to light heavyweight, but now he was fighting guys his own size, and it cost him against Fundora. Now, Benavidez is way better than Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., but the point remains, just because you're no longer having to make weight doesn't necessarily mean you'll be that much better at that weight. Doesn't necessarily mean you'll perform better. The other thing is, if Zurdo feels those slaps from Benavidez and says, hey, I can take him, maybe finally we find a guy who's willing to trade with Benavidez and not necessarily cover up and move and try to counter him. So that's an interesting thing that I'm really looking forward to seeing. And the other thing that Zurdo needs to do is go to the body. A lot of these dudes don't go to the body against Benavidez. Hold on a second. Let me, like I said, I'm going to invite people over here before we go, just to see if anybody wants to jump on. You never know who's going to jump on. Maybe some old people that we haven't heard of from in a while. How do I invite people on this fucking thing anyway? Anyway, I'm trying to figure out here, but let me keep saying what I was saying about Benavidez here. Benavidez, Zurdo. A lot of guys don't go to Benavidez's body. And really, why would you expect them to go to their body? Let's look at his recent opponents. Caleb Plant, not a body puncher. Andrade, not a body puncher. And both guys not exactly the hardest hitters out there. Gvozdyk, not a body puncher. At least not with hooks and uppercuts and all that. Morel, also not a body puncher. At least not against high-level opposition. Iardi, a good body puncher, but one who doesn't fight that well or often on the inside. The tragedy of Anthony Iardi is that whoever was in charge of his career, I don't know if he made the decision or somebody else made the decision for him, they tried to turn him into a British Roy Jones. And he didn't have the skill set nor the talent to fight anywhere near like that. Even Jean-Pascal had more physical talent than Iardi. Also, he had a better foundation from the amateur days than Iardi. Iardi, remember, started out late in boxing. He was trying to do the shoulder roll, trying to do the Mayweather. He was built like a truck, and he was built to fight on the front foot, on the inside, the way he did against, what was the guy's name? Lyndon Arthur in the rematch. But then what happens in the rubber match? Again, he tries to outbox him like he did in the first fight, which hadn't worked in the first fight, and it almost cost him in the third fight. And then he's fighting Benavidez, and he did okay against Benavidez, firing throwaway shots the way Gvozdyk had, trying to keep Benavidez occupied. But really, Iardi is a guy who should have been taught to fight on the inside and should have been a pressure fighter instead of trying to be a cutie in there. But anyway, he's a good body puncher, but he's a guy who's very inconsistent. He doesn't have the talent, the skill, the ring IQ rather, to do that. He doesn't really know what he's doing because, again, he doesn't have the foundation. He started very late in boxing. Zurdo is the first real body puncher that Benavidez is fighting. But even then, Zurdo's going to have to make, and again, he's got Malik Scott and what's his name? Julian Chua, or I forget his name is, who seems to be a very analytical mind too. So maybe, hopefully, they look at Benavidez and say, okay, Benavidez at a cruiserweight probably won't be hitting as hard. You probably won't feel his punches the way the guys at the lower weights have. I mean, even Morel and Gvozdyk didn't feel him. They didn't really, I mean, they took some wallops in there from Benavidez, but you could tell Benavidez was trying his hardest to hurt him, and those guys weren't going anywhere. So I don't think Zurdo's going anywhere either, unless Benavidez powers up at cruiserweight, which I don't know if that's going to happen. But Zurdo has to go to the body. If you watch most of my analysis that I do previous to Benavidez, I always say body, body, body. But these guys don't go to the body because they get hit upstairs. They get hit upstairs, and then they want to get their get back upstairs themselves, and they start headhunting against Benavidez, and that doesn't work. Or when Benavidez starts rope-a-doping, and these guys start trying to hit him upstairs. No, you got to hit him to the body. Hit him to the body, stab him to the body, not just necessarily the hooks, but just, stabbing shots, straight shots to the body. And if you're going to fight Benavidez on the inside, you got to go with short shots on the inside. I'm talking real close. If you're fighting head-to-head, short shots. The way there was a guy named Tony Luis. He fought a guy by the name of Carl Dragon, who was trained by Brother Nassim on ESPN. This was a way back, I think it was 10 years ago, maybe more. And Tony Luis, he was fighting this dude who was trying to do the shoulder roll. And if you go big against a shoulder roll, the guy's going to roll with the shots. So Tony Luis was firing very compact, short shots on the inside, and that's how he beat him. He beat him up on the inside. So I know it's easier said than done to do that to Benavidez, because Benavidez, like I said, he's got a lot going for him. He's got good short shots on the inside, chopping shots, the ones that I'm really talking about in a sense. He's got good defense, underrated defense, and he's got a good work rate. So it's easier said than done, but it can be done. It's just that some of the guys that he's fought so far, they don't really have the wherewithal to stay in there with him. Morrell did good, but Morrell. I'm going to put the StreamYard there, so before we go, if anybody wants to jump in, let's see who jumps in. Have a little bit of a convo. I'll stay on for another, a little bit longer, but I do have to go afterwards. I haven't even had breakfast yet. I got to break the fast. So the StreamYard link is right there. And let me read a couple of comments here from the comment section. Perukua says, fuck Nassim. Yeah, that guy was dirty, man. That's what some people say. Just look at the Cunningham, Steve Cunningham versus, what's his name? The Polish guy at cruiserweight. Oh, and then the Canadian guy, Troy something, where he thumbed him and ruined his career, essentially. Adam Hurley says, Zurdo insulted Benavidez by ducking up Itauma and not ducking him. Zurdo insulted Benavidez by ducking up Itauma. Oh, okay. Yeah, in a way, yeah, you could say that's a bit of an insult, yeah. Paracua says, Zurdo team will have Zurdo ready. Well, we'll see, man. Sober says, I hate that fight. Well, you hate everybody. Delboy says, I do think Zurdo is being a little overlooked. He has an underrated and well-rounded skill set. I got Benavidez, but it won't be easy. That's the other thing, man. That right hook to the body from Zurdo is very good, very hard. He should throw it more. And again, Chris Billam-Smith is a big dude. And Zurdo was backing him up at some points. And incidentally, Billam-Smith tried to do the rope-a-dope at one point against Zurdo, and Zurdo threw a 1-2-1, and he caught Billam-Smith smack dab in the middle as he was pulling out and snapped his head back. So maybe that's something he can do against Benavidez. And Padukua says, is BDA a Muslim? No, it's because I woke up early for the show and I hadn't had breakfast. So, I'm not, no, I don't know what you're talking about. It's not that I'm fasting during the night, whatever. Who do we got here? Pudo, is that you?
The one and only.
The one and only Pudo. ¿Qué ole, man? Is that what you always say? I say ¿qué onda? But you say ¿qué ole?
What's up, bro?
Is that a California thing or?
What? No, it's a Mexican thing.
It's a Mexican thing. All right.
¿Qué onda is like real proper, bro. It's like fucking, I don't know.
No, ¿qué onda?
Where I come from, say ¿qué onda?
¿Qué onda is still slang.
I guess every now and then, bro. But ¿qué was more where how I was raised.
That's still slang, man. ¿Qué onda? That's slang. That's not a. You don't talk to your grandfather, say, hey, ¿qué onda? Or you prefer as the teacher or something, right?
Yeah, and Cubo is just a shorthand for Cubole.
Okay, I got you. What's up, man? What do you want to talk about? Anything? Some of the subjects
I
we
just want to
talked.
say what up and talk to you in a minute, man. So you're gonna drop a link for a minute. Thought I'd say hi.
Well, good on you for
But I
dropping.
can talk about anything. You know me.
Zurdo versus Benavidez, man. It's an intriguing fight.
It is. It's like what was it? 5-6 years too late? Hopefully Zurdo whips his ass, but we'll see.
Is it a little bit too late? Because I actually think it's better now. Because I think Zurdo at 168 and 175 was kind of ass.
I don't know. They were both champions. It was unification. If David would have beat him, he would have actually become a champion instead of just being emailed belts.
By the way, is that Punch Drunk that you have there on your?
That is him.
Why would you have Punch Drunk as your avatar?
to make fun of him.
Ah, come on. Why did he do to you? What did he ever do to you?
Nothing. He didn't do anything to me. I don't know him, actually. I talked to him twice on YouTube.
Does he still? I remember during the pandemic, he opened up the panel. I think I went. Yeah, I did go there. I don't know how many times. I think I went to the panel. It was actually a pretty good convo. Does he still do open panels?
I have no idea. I don't watch any of his content. The only time I talked to him was on Narrative Ness's channel back in the day.
Narrative Ness. I gotta tell you, Puro is he's on fire right now. So do you think Zurdo beats Puro Zurdo? Do you think Zurdo beats Benavides?
I mean, my rational mind says, yeah, easily.
Easily.
But like fucking like literally like Benavides is like Shakur, Boo Boo, any of the other propped up fighters, bro. I mean, they want him to succeed. So I don't know.
Wow. So you think it's easy? I mean, I don't think whoever wins, I don't think it's easy.
Yeah, I mean, just the experience, the style matchup, bro. Yeah, bro. Like sort of like should make easy work out of the dude. But like I said, I don't know.
But when you say hold on, when you say experience, you're talking experience at cruiserweight or
experience in boxing?
You think Zurdo's more experienced than Benavides?
100%. It's not even close.
Break it down, please. I'm curious to hear this one.
Just look at his record, bro. I mean, like, you want me to break down every single of his notable wins that are like better than every single one of David Benavides' wins?
Yes, please.
All right. Vlasov, better than any win that David Benavides has. Billiam Smith, Joe Smith Jr. I mean, like, the list goes on and on. The guy that just got robbed by Khalil Cole, what's his name? Page?
Yeah, Khalil Cole, who was it?
Jeff Page? No. I don't know. He got off the fucking couch.
Oh, Jesse Hart.
Jesse Hart.
Right. Oh, yeah, he beat Jesse Hart, right? Yeah, he beat him twice. Right? Twice. Yeah.
Well, that was his first championship.
Now, the Angulo fight, though, I remember he got hurt against Angulo. He got hurt against Ramirez.
Angulo.
He's the guy that Benavides beat rather easily.
He fought Angulo?
Yeah.
I don't even remember him fighting Angulo, and Angulo sucks.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, they got two hands, right? They could punch.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, Benavides lost to Graville, in my opinion. But,
whoa.
They give him the win.
You think he lost the first fight?
Yeah. It was a very close fight, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I think the knockdown clinched it.
You know what, man? I mean, by the way, Ramirez is 34. I don't know why I thought he was 32 or 31. 34. So you're saying Ramirez beats Benavides easily because by virtue of the fact that he's got a better resume. By the way, do you like that when people call it?
That has nothing to do with the resume. Just he's a better fighter, better boxer, stronger, bigger.
Do you like it when people call it a resume?
I don't care what they call it.
Come on, Puro, come on. Okay, you're being a little bit too aloof here. Like, I don't care. I don't care.
I mean, like,
I don't watch this guy.
Right?
I don't watch that guy.
A resume, who he's fought. I mean, like, it's all the same.
You are a cool guy. You don't need to convince me that you're cool by saying, I don't care about this guy. I don't care about that guy. Just,
No. You asked me, like, if I care if they call it resume. I'm like, I really don't care what they call it.
But you know why I bring that up? Because Boxing Chief, he's one of the guys on this show.
I've heard him before.
Yeah, he hates the word resume. He goes, what, are these guys going for a job interview? And I go, well, in a sense, yeah. It is a job. We're the guys, you know what I mean? It's like, it is a bit of a what you call it? When guys go to an acting gig, what's it called? The audition. They're auditioning for us, because we want to find out how good they are. So in a sense, yeah, it's the resume counts. So I call it a resume. If you don't want to call it a resume, we can call it that's what I told Chief. A record or a dossier, if you want to be fancy.
Opponents.
Exactly, yeah.
Legacy, I mean, whatever.
Like, yeah,
I mean, like, I hate people that get hung up on a word.
Okay. Oh, you're throwing Chief under the bus now, man. Come on.
No. I'm just talking shit, but I mean, like, yeah, I mean, well, you know me, BD. I'm like, I don't really beat around the bush, bro.
No, you really don't. That's why we like you, because you speak your mind. You're unfiltered. I don't want filtered people. If I want filters, I'll go drink some coffee. I want to hear what people actually having their inside their head. Now, by the way, I'm curious. What time is it? You're in Cali, right?
I'm in California. Yes, it's 5:42 in the AM.
Whoa, you're up early. People were like, "Oh, BDA, you're up early." I'm on the East Coast. You're
yeah. My daughter goes to school soon.
I see. I got you. I get the feeling you're an early riser.
Well, just because of my daughter. I've never been that in my entire life. I actually always struggled with that. You know?
Really?
Basic Mexican shit.
Oh, wait a minute.
Stuff like that.
Now I want to
not anymore for whatever reason. Ever since I had a kid, I just pop out.
Yeah, that'll change it, man. Oh, hey, Palukua says another word for record: portfolio.
There it is.
Portfolio. I wanted to get your thoughts on Keyshawn Davis. Have you been keeping up with his shenanigans?
I used to keep up with most of the fighter shenanigans, but to me, it's getting really annoying. So I mean, what do you mean by shenanigans? Just like the shit talking,
Well, against I think it was against Lemos, he was doing a lot of talking. Then against Barancic, a whole lot of talking. Then against Los Santos, even more talking. Then against the whole thing with the fruit basket, which a lot of us believe that he either sent himself that fruit basket with a racist message, or somebody from his team sent it to make him look like a victim. And then attacking.
He sent it. Let's just call it what it is.
You believe that?
Yeah. I mean, literally, he was dropping really big hints.
Yeah, and then him going after Abdullah Mason, who's not a big talker, but then he won't keep, like people say, he won't keep the same energy against Ryan Garcia or against his own stablemate Shakur Stevenson. He keeps saying, I ain't never gonna fight Shakur. He my brother. What do you feel about that, by the way? What do you feel about that? The stablemates refusing to fight each other, even though they're not blood related.
It's dumb to me. It's never existed before. Like brothers is the only thing that's generally accepted, like actual blood brothers.
So what do you make about that? Everything I outlined about Keyshawn Davis and him going after Abdullah Mason, who's at 135, and he's 21 years old, by the way. Abdullah Mason is.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite fighters. Well, one of the ones I have an eye on.
So what do you make of that, Keyshawn Davis? How would you characterize him?
I quite like when they talk shit, but only if they entertain me. So literally Keyshawn, all the new kids right now that talk a lot of shit. They it seems very it's not them. It doesn't come natural. So it's it doesn't entertain me. So I block it out, bro. It's a bunch of shit talking. All they do is talk.
Yeah, but I mean, I gotta tell you, man, I think Keyshawn Davis would do well to just let the fist do the talking in the ring. All this talking outside the ring, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of our time.
Shit in one hand and pray in the other, bro. See which one gets filled first, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
open the other.
Yeah,
this is what they do. This is what they do to market themselves, bro. It's literally just talk.
Exactly. Where they think it looks good. By the way, they think it's gonna. They think it's gonna play well, and people are gonna pay to watch you lose. No, that I keep saying
and that's your fault, BDA, by the way.
My fault.
Yeah, you and all the other channels. It's my fault as well. Because I feed into the circus.
Well, I'll say this.
Know that you guys fucking come out with a video every day, alive every day. So this is what these guys want.
Well, I'll say this. I usually don't like the trash talking, but there's recent examples where the trash talking is working a little bit. Keith Thurman versus Fundora. He's been talking a lot. And so now I'm actually intrigued. Okay, you talked all this big game. Now you got to show up, Keith Thurman. I want to see how he shows up. And if he loses, it's kind of, there's kind of what's the word I'm looking? A certain satisfaction of watching a guy who talked a lot get beat up. Same thing with Amo Williams now. Amo Williams is talking a lot against Adames for tomorrow, talking a big game, very confident. So now I am a little bit intrigued to see what happens. Also, Saturday.
That guy's nuts, by the way, but excuse me.
What is he a furry or something? What is he?
No, he's just nuts. He has mental issues.
But has he said anything? Because I don't know his story too much. So,
he took a year off for mental issues. Literally, he was on the rise, and then for a year, nobody heard of him. But then he said that he had to get some help.
Another guy with issues, right? Another guy with mental issues.
Yeah, but he didn't talk about it or anything until he actually came back. Literally, he just kind of disappeared for a year.
I found a photograph of Amo Williams in the buildup to the Shiraz fight. He was shadowboxing in the open work and he had a tail. That's the thing that.
I heard that earlier, man. I was laughing my ass off when I heard that.
What is that, man? Is that?
I don't know. I've seen some pornos where chicks stick, what are they called, butt plugs or whatever, and they have some furry tail attached to it.
Yeah, that's a bad look there for Amo. I don't know if he's trying to tell us something. I don't know if he's trying to signal to people hey, I don't know if he's trying to say open for business. I don't know if that's what he's trying to say there, but
Hey, fruity dudes can fight too, bro. Look at what's his name, Benny Perret, but the guy that killed Benny Perret.
Emil Griffith, yeah.
Emil Griffith. He was fruity as a question mark.
fruity as a question mark. Yeah, you're right.
Killed him because of that shit.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's true. Let's see what people saying in the chat here. Parkour says Top Rank staged the fruit basket, talking about Keyshawn Davis. Fruit basket.
I could believe that too. Like it was like all staged by all parties.
A fruit basket for a head basket, a basket case rather. But hey, you know what's interesting about that is the thing that really made me suspicious, and it was Thunderdome Boxing who pointed this out. When what's his name? Aegis, or I forget the guy's name. He's one of the handlers for Berenchik, manager, promoter, whatever.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Klimas, right? Klimas.
I think it was him.
Yeah.
He went up to Bolmac and he said, "Look, we didn't send that. Like, we didn't send a fruit basket." And then what's his name? Bolmac's like, "Don't worry about it." It's like, "Well, don't worry about it." A minute earlier, they're talking about how they're gonna kick Berenchik's ass for doing that, and now all of a sudden he's not. Don't worry. And then he looks at the camera and he goes, "Get the camera out the way. Get the camera with the. Why would you want the camera out the way?" So that's what made me go, "Why all of a sudden don't they want to talk about this?" It's like the Margarito hand wraps too. Montoya's made, I think it was Thomas Hauser or Montoya made a good point about how, what's his name, Brother Nassim, when who's allegedly the guy who found the hand wraps there from Margarito, he said, "Oh, I wanted to kill him," but then he didn't even show up to testify at the hearing that they had in the California State Athletic Commission.
It was all a ploy, bro. I mean, I say this all. I don't even argue at this point anymore because at the end of the day, people are gonna believe what they believe. You know, some people call him a piece of shit. A lot of fighters, a lot of respected fighters that believe they did what they did, but like literally, like Stitch Duran, he's kind of like the leading authority on that shit. Says there's nothing you can do to a hand wrap to give you an advantage. Nothing.
Exactly. You can take the padding off the gloves,
but that doesn't give you an advantage either. I mean, like literally, that's the only documented, like actual, like where it's been used in a fight, in an actual fight. Like anything else has like been found before, where like you know, Louis Resto, but like that didn't give him any advantage. Like literally, like all it did was like swell
fucking
up.
Stupid. He destroyed that guy's face to the point where he couldn't fight ever again. He ruined his career.
It didn't make him stronger than
and he's never done that to anybody else before or after. So
that's the only
I think it had an effect.
Case of it, bro.
I think it had an effect.
You talk about Panama Louis there, Sobi?
Yeah.
By the way, why did I call you Sobi? Because that's the name you have. I didn't mean, I was gonna call you Sober.
That's my new nickname.
No.
So another thing I gotta correct, dude. You got people coming out here saying stupid shit. Amal Williams, his whole thing about mental health issue. He said he was addicted to weed. He went to rehab for weed. So I don't know how much of a mental issue that is. And he is a furry. He had a butt plug stuck up his ass before he fought Shizar. You know what I'm saying? I know you're a weirdo and you like these. I know you like these type of fighters, Puto Sud, but I think it's distasteful for you to use your daughter. I think it's distasteful for you to use your daughter as an excuse of why you're up so early. Just say you're a Scante warrior and you never sleep. Don't use your daughter as an excuse,
love
bro.
Love is love, bro. How's that going, bro?
You know what I'm saying?
How's that going?
How's what going?
Did you score with the training? Did you try to?
I don't know. What are you talking about?
The trannies you kick it with.
I don't know, bro. Who kicks it with me? What are you talking about? You watch my channel? You know what's going on or what?
I'll watch Phantom.
Oh, viene interesado, right, faggot?
I'll watch Phantom's channel.
Okay. Like what about Phantom's channel? I don't go over there.
Bro, with big cocks. Hey, man. Seriously, I mean that from the heart.
You like shoving Scante up your ass? You like fucking you like shoving Scante up your ass? That's on you, bro.
No problem.
And I guess you're hearing some weird shit, right? And you're making shit up to try to save face, but that's cool.
No, I heard this.
You know what I mean? You're up late. You don't sleep. You're Scante'd out. You know what I'm saying? You're using your daughter as an excuse. You know what I mean? You're the deadlifting world champion. You know what I mean?
I am.
Just hang your head on that, bro.
I'm getting the sense here that there's some backstory here between you two.
No, I just like making fun of crackheads.
I don't even know who this guy is, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So how do you know who I'm talking to?
Guy
then?
on the YouTube, bro.
So how do you know who I'm talking to then, right? Okay.
Guy on YouTube, faggot. Bro. When people call him so.
Scante warrior.
Yeah.
Yeah, stay quiet, bitch.
I'm not staying quiet, bro.
Go in hush mode.
I'm talking.
Fucking retard.
Talk.
Who's that? Benavidez is gonna lose just because Cejudo is more experienced. Really explain. What's that guy's name? Oh, I can't remember, but he beat him.
Bro, you couldn't break down a fight if your fucking life.
Bro, you couldn't break down your own reasoning, you fucking dumbass. You couldn't even break down your own reasoning. Why is Zurdo gonna win, bro? Break it down. Cause that guy.
I already did.
He fought. Oh, he fought him. They fought the same dude. They both fought on Gulo. I didn't even know
you
that.
hopped on a fucking
I didn't even know he fought on
one
Gulo.
fucking thing that I said.
I just came to say good morning.
Like, yeah,
I just came to say good morning.
You just said good morning,
good morning,
right now.
bitch.
You didn't say
good morning, bitch.
Good morning, ho. Tell your mama to fucking cook a burrito properly.
Okay.
And tell your sister, man, to clean up the house, bro. It's fucking dirty, man. I can't stand that shit.
Okay. I don't live with my sister or my mom.
I know.
Dumbass.
That's what I just said.
Dumbass bitch.
That's what I just said. I said when you see him, bro.
Yeah. How's the deadlifting going?
It's great.
You still breaking records?
My record, bro.
You're still breaking records? Are you still breaking world records? No, that's what's
your
up.
mama is actually
that's
my
what's
witness.
Up. That's what's up.
Your mama and your sister is my witness.
Oh, wow.
Well,
your mom, your sister. Oh.
You don't have a mother or a sister, bro?
No, they're dead.
Well, shit, man. God rest their souls, bro.
So now apologize for making those jokes.
I literally killed the pussy.
Yeah.
Literally killed the pussy,
those jokes, bitch.
No, I'm not gonna apologize for anything, bro.
You can't kill anything, bro. You can't kill anything, dude. Didn't a crackhead come in your house and slap you up? And he sat on your couch and took a piss on it. You didn't do anything about it.
Hey, bro, just because you're mad at the tranny,
didn't a crackhead go into your house
like,
and piss on your couch and you didn't do shit about it?
Like literally, bro, if like you would listen.
Didn't a crackhead go into your house and piss on your couch and you didn't do shit about it?
I would get that tranny dick.
By the way,
isn't that what happened? Can you confirm that? Yes or no?
I would help you get that tranny dick, bro. Don't take it out on me.
I bet you would. I bet you know how to get it. Yeah, I bet you know all the moves. I know. I bet you do. I bet you know where to find them. I bet you know how much they cost. I know you do. Especially that community, right?
All right, now listen.
Didn't a crackhead go in your house?
Particularly your mother's pussy.
You like boy pussy. You like boy pussy.
No longer with us,
all right. Listen. I first of all, Pudo, I should. I never did apologize for taking a piss on your couch. I do apologize, but no. Listen. I wanted to say
you love me though.
Yeah. Okay. What is okay? No, but I know you guys are trying. You know, you went at it, but I'm curious how because you're saying, oh, you're in that mode where I got no problem with this guy. I got no problem, but evidently there's something going on.
I'll tell you what it is, BD. I made fun of this faggot one time. Look. Yeah. He don't know me. Right. Look. I made fun of this faggot one time. He never got over it. The only time, look, whenever this retard would go live, there's 1 or 2 people in his live stream. I'm one of them, right? Just off the rip that because I mean, he's retarded. He doesn't really know boxing, right? He's kind of stupid, but we know some of the same people. So I'll go over there, right? When it was just like, I'm literally the only person in your fucking chat, right? And then someone will ask him, oh, why don't you go to Sobers? And he's like, oh, fuck that guy. I don't give a fuck about him. He's a piece of shit. And I never say nothing bad about this fucking bitch, right? So, yeah. So whatever he has stuck up his ass about me, whatever he has, look, shut up. Whatever he has stuck up his ass about me, that's on you. You got to figure out what that's up with him. All these people, of course, it's on site with all you fucking pussies. It's on site with all you pussies. You, Matt, Chad, any of you faggots who say my name first, yeah, it's on site with y'all. Yeah, I don't let it go.
Right now in the chat, I don't even acknowledge you, bro. Like you hopped on to talk to me, bro.
It sounds good.
You hopped on to talk to me, bro.
No, I hopped on to say what's up to BDA and to correct your stupid ass.
You didn't correct anything, bro.
Yeah, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about with Ammo Williams. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about Zurdo. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about Zurdo, Benavides.
Boxing talk idiot.
You don't know what the fuck you're talking about Thurman. You know what my channel's called? I thought you don't know who I am. You see what I'm saying, BDA? He doesn't want to know me, but he knows.
Grannies who love him?
He doesn't want to know me, but he knows me. So whatever his problem is, you can ask him.
Literally, we won't have an interaction ever again, bro, unless if I come back on.
That's cool. That's cool.
Just because you look up to me, bro, it's cool, bro. I get that all the time.
I don't look up to crackheads.
Well, I gotta tell you.
Look up to this crackhead, bro.
Nobody looks up to crackheads.
Nobody looks up to crackheads, bro, just to talk to me, bro.
Nobody looks up to crackheads.
Like, I'm not gonna give you my cock, bro.
Well, I want your little penis wrinkle, bro. No one wants your little fucking Pez dispenser.
I gotta tell you,
tranny. That's why.
Okay.
I gotta tell you, you guys got.
You might think I'm a tranny, huh? That's why you fucking stalk me and shit.
Yeah, that's why you like Pigeon. Yeah, you kind of like Pigeon, huh?
Yeah, Pigeon's my homie.
I know, because you like trannies.
A tranny, he dresses
You
up
want to
in
talk about
clothes,
trannies?
bro.
That's your buddy, right, Pigeon? He's a tranny.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Go give him a kiss. Since you're such good friends.
Not my buddy, bro. You want to be?
You just call him your buddy.
Well, I gotta
Come
tell you,
closer to the phone,
look,
crackhead.
you
Come
guys,
closer to the phone, crackhead.
you guys got some shots in here. You guys got shots at each other.
Yeah, BD. I just came to shake up the morning, and correct this retard. There's been a lot of
You didn't correct
misinformation.
anything, bro.
There's been a lot of
You
misinformation
came up here
being
to
passed
cope.
around your channels.
You came up here to
You know what I'm
cope.
saying?
Keep coping, bro.
Cope with what? That you don't know what you're talking about with
And
boxing?
I'm your daddy, bro.
Okay.
Like you're gonna have to
You don't
come to
have any
terms with that
kids.
one day,
You
bro.
don't have any kids.
You're gonna have to
You don't
come
have
to
any
terms with
kids.
that one day,
You don't have any kids.
You're my only son, bro.
You're a crackhead. You don't
Proud
have
of
any
you, bro.
kids.
But like literally, like
Mhm.
I gotta wait.
Okay.
Well, I gotta tell you, you guys really sharpened up the morning here. Who needs coffee when you got Puro Sur and Sobers going at it? I gotta tell you, these guys both.
I know, BD. I felt bad, bro, because I felt like you wanted me to like be more like animated.
It was good. It was good. It was good. You guys went at it.
No,
like,
I love when your voice cracks. More of that.
I think it's
It's
talking to you.
hilarious.
yeah, I think he's talking to me. No, but listen. You
No,
guys.
I'm talking to this faggot right now.
No, listen. I'm trying to defuse the situation. I'm trying to find a way out of this. So you guys took some shots at each other. Very interesting. I'm telling you, Puro and Sobers are two seasoned YTBC veterans. That's for sure. So
Yeah, he's a scalp. You got a scalp collector right here, right?
Facts.
No one's ever seen him do it though. No one's ever seen him do it. You know what's funny though, BDA? When someone gives themselves a nickname, and everyone's like, "Hey, how'd you get that nickname?" He's like, "Come on, I'm that guy." You're like, "What?" No, someone else has to give it to you, bro. You don't give yourself a nickname and say, "Hey, I do this."
Well, like Andrew
You know what I'm
Ward.
saying? Like when Mike Tyson was like, when he was making shit up, when people would go up to him on the street, like, "Hey, aren't you that young knockout kid?" No one's ever said that to him, and no one's ever said that to Puto Sur. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, I'm glad somebody gave you a fucking nickname that sounds like a fucking 10-year-old boy, bro. Good for you. Good for you, bro.
Okay. Well, think of a better nickname next time, bitch.
Never Sobers.
I mean, we
man.
gave you a couple. We gave you a couple, right? You got Puto Sur. You know what I'm saying?
No, Sergio gave me that one.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. It's a pretty good one. Own it. That's the one you're rocking with. That's your nickname. It's not Puto Sur. It's not Scalp Collector. It's Puto Sur. Okay?
Okay.
Just like I came on here with the nickname they gave me.
Hey, bro, just tell your mama to fucking
All right,
make
so just own
my
it.
dinner after I
Keep making
down, bro.
8th grade jokes. Your mom. I'm fucking your mom. I'm fucking your grandma. I'm fucking your sister.
Well, keep
Damn, bro, you're
cooking to
clever.
everybody that
This
fucking
is
wants to fuck you, bro.
cutting edge wit right here. I'm fucking your mom, bro.
You keep fucking going to
I'm
the
fucking your sister
trannies
too,
and
dude. Did you know
picking
that?
up
I'm
and having
fucking your
beers,
sister
bro.
too, bro.
Which, like I
And
said,
I'm
there's
fucking your
nothing
dead
wrong
grandma.
with it.
Trannies.
And I'm fucking your dead
I
grandma.
mean, we got trannies fucking your sister. I mean, I'm telling
The
you,
only
this is
trainer we know is Pigeon.
Necrophiliacs, bro, it's crazy.
I'm telling you,
The only
both guys
trainer we know is
are.
Pigeon, and Puto Sur was talking about
Oh,
making
he's a
out with him. So.
cross-dresser,
Well,
not a
listen. But both of you pulled out all the stops. I liked it, but we gotta end it here though, because I do have to go. But shout out to Puto Sur and shout out to Sobers for joining us and for livening up the morning. You guys
Go
were
get some sleep,
you
Puto
guys are
Sur.
great.
Go get some
Sobe's
sleep,
gonna
bro.
go cry in the car, bro.
Go get some sleep, bro. Go get some sleep, bro. You don't
Hey,
sleep. Go get some
go
sleep.
holler at trannies on the internet.
All right, guys,
coming
I'm gonna
down.
jump out of the
The
StreamYard.
Scott is coming down.
I'm gonna jump out of the
The Scott
StreamYard.
is coming down.
I'm gonna
Go
jump
get
out of
some
the
sleep,
StreamYard.
faggot.
Loser.
Okay, I had to jump out of the stream. I had to jump out of the StreamYard because it's never gonna end. You know, I said earlier that I was looking for a way out. There's no way out because these guys are just gonna. Every time I try to say something or try to end it, one guy's gonna take one shot and then the other guy's gonna have to reply. So pretty sure they're still going at it on the StreamYard. But shout out to you guys for joining us, and shout out to Sobers and Puro Sur for joining us. Really appreciate it. I didn't know it was gonna turn into. I didn't even know Sobers was had some sort of. Well, I mean, he's gonna say I had no problem with him, but I mean, evidently there's some sort of friction between them. Let's just put it that way. So I didn't know that there was friction, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We tried to provide all sorts of forms of entertainment here. A little boxing, a little drama. Never hurt anybody. Pugilism says wholesome trash talk and fight hype. They're just selling the fight. Exactly. Yeah, they're just they're just selling the fight. Yeah, it's not personal. It's not real. It's just they're just selling a fight. But yeah, so shout out to all of you guys. Some people in the chat are pro Puro. Some people are pro Sobers. So it runs the gamut. That's all I'll say. And hopefully you guys enjoy the show. Again, there was a lot to talk about, a lot in the news. I'll try to be back here and do more morning shows. Hopefully we can get some people on if they want to. I know for a little while there in the summer, when we were doing a lot of summer shows in a row, Sobers and Food TV jumped on. So hopefully maybe some other people can join. We'll see how that happens or how that works. Also, before we do go, there is some fighting today. Jeez, Louise. Michael Conlan is still in there, still trying to give it a good old go. He's going to be fighting Walsh. What's his name? Hold on, let me look it up. Kevin Walsh was undefeated. Yes, I saw a little bit of him yesterday on YouTube. Not bad. But then again, Michael Conlan seems to be finished here. He lost. Who did he? I know Conlan lost to somebody. He lost to. Oh no, actually, well, he lost to Bernardo Lopez. Got brutally knocked out, and he lost to Jordan Gill. But he's actually had. Whoa, that Bernardo Lopez fight was in 2023. I thought it was. I don't know why I thought it was more recent. Anyway, he has 2 wins since then, so I don't know. I didn't see those 2 wins, so I don't know how he's going to look, but he's still pushing it. He's still pushing his luck. Michael Conlan. There's also some sort of PFL. I think that's MMA today. I'm assuming the zone. And tomorrow, too, on Pro Box, Lester Martinez returns. He's going to be taking on Emmanuel Alim. And if you haven't seen Alim, he used to fight on the PBC. He's got quick hands. He's a little older at 34 years old, I believe. But nevertheless, he is quick-handed. He's got a little bit of experience. Not necessarily the best wins. I think his best win was against Demond Nicholson. And they fought twice, by the way. So maybe whatever happens with Alim, he can always get that trilogy. The trilogy we've all been waiting for against Nicholson. Okay, he's 32 years old. Not that old. But again, very thin resume, and Lester Martinez really seems to be coming into his own, even though he couldn't get past Mbili. Officially, it was a draw, but we'll see what happens with him. So there's 2 fights tomorrow: Amo Williams versus Carlos Adames, and then Lester Martinez versus Alim on Pro Box. So we'll see what happens. Looks like a good fight indeed. Shout out to everybody for joining us. Miso Dionysian, Jason T. Green says, thanks for the morning show. Well, thank you guys for joining. Really appreciate it. Earl Stevens, Igloo, the Chidlin Distributor. I am the Liam Kersey, Alfredo Contreras. Who else we had here? Hold on a second. I'm trying to put some music before we go here. I don't do the outros anymore on the regular show. Because, at the end of the night, I'm very tired when we do the show. We usually do, nowadays we do the shows between 7:30 and 9:30, so that's usually our schedule now. But in the morning, I still got energy, baby, for an outro. That is right. So shout out to Puro Surtu for joining us, Alfredo Contreras, Liam, like I said, Chilling Distributor, 213, Adam Hurley, Morbi DC, Aquaflow, Boxing Lounge, Sobers, Pugilism. And if I forgot anybody, Parokua, Hard Recoil, Del Boy, shout out to Del Boy, check out his channel, his boxing channel, Blue Collar Sports TV. And if I forgot anybody, Senpai Leo, shout out to him, JJ, Jay Perez. If I forgot anybody, it's because we gotta go. The Turk Solozzo in there, shout out to him as well. Shout out to you guys for joining us. Everybody who joined us, really appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoy the fights tomorrow. I don't know if there's gonna be an open lines today. Maybe I'll do an open lines. I don't know. No promises, but I want to do more open lines. You see the type of craziness that we get up to when we open up the panel. So shout out to everybody out there. Hopefully you guys enjoy the show. Catch you on the next one. Take it easy. Thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your morning. Woohoo!